Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Season 12 semifinals pre-show. My name is Nightfire with two E's, and I apologize for a brief delay and the lack of countdown to jump into this pre-show. Some minor technical difficulties that we have sorted. Anyway, we are here with a full host of analysts this afternoon for what is going to be an incredibly exciting weekend of gameplay. Sky, I'll start with you. How are you feeling this afternoon?
Well, a few minutes ago, still half asleep. But now that we're sitting here, we're talking, we're upping the action, getting ready for it. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. Let's get her going as fast as we can.
Oh, yeah. Just roughly probably 10, 15 minutes away from gameplay starting here this afternoon. Lord Visceral, how are you feeling today?
I am doing great. I'm excited for what we have in store today.
And last but not least, TBN Royal, how are you doing?
I'm feeling amazing. I'm ready for a very action-packed day today.
Indeed, it is going to be an incredibly hype and action-packed day today. The start of the action is going to be Raptors and Rome in just a few minutes after this pre-show. So that's going to be a fantastic match to kick off. We'll get into that match in just a few minutes here. But we have to go over the long road that has gotten us into the semifinals. These teams started off competing in the Challenger Cup just 2 weekends ago, where we had finalists from Group A and Group B in the Challenger Cup. Those finalists then competed in the Challenger Cup final last weekend for a chance to be the one team that gets to advance in to the round-robin Group B, which happened last weekend. The Challenger Cup, for those not in the know, included upwards of 60 teams playing against each other for that one opportunity to be able to go in and compete in that Group B stage. The round robin included teams from the top 7 worldwide of the VRML regular season ladder. So that's this season, Season 12, of 15 weeks of gameplay. They managed to achieve ranks 1 through 7 in order to qualify in to this round robin group stage. They did not have to go through and beat out those 60 teams in order to get in to this group stage. Group A consisted of ranks 2, 3, 6, and 7 competing against each other. Group B consisted of ranks 1, 4, 5, and the Challenger Cup finalist, who was Raptors. We then had 2 winners out of both Group A and Group B. The winners from Group A were Error 404 and Rome, and from the winners from Group B were Boss Fight and Raptors. The Challenger Cup finalists who managed to climb up through all of those, the slog of the round robin and the Challenger Cup finals have now managed to get an opportunity to compete for the title. As Raptors were our Season 11 champions, they are now moving on with Boss Fight into the semis and the finals, which is going to be today and tomorrow. There's a lot to talk about, and I want to get into the sort of nitty-gritty of what we saw just last weekend, because that's going to give us a good idea of what we're going to see to start things off. And Visceral, I'll start with you, because you got to cast the Error 404 side of things and the Vikings side of things for that first group stage. And I want to get your thoughts on both of those teams, but obviously the qualifier there, Error 404. How do you feel like they played going into that group stage?
Yeah, Error 404 was starting off very strong. When we started the round robin, the first round, they went 4-2, 4-1 against Peacekeepers. Just right out of the gates, the only one to take both maps in round 1, showing a very strong foot. And they continued that. They won both maps against Vikings in round 2, and in just 2 rounds, they had guaranteed themselves a spot here. That said, they did end up losing to Rome in round 3. So it'd be interesting to see how they come back from that, if they get that opportunity.
Yeah, they had some fantastic plays. We just ran that C4 clip from their match against Peacekeepers, where they managed to down 3 with 1 C4. They really were on their A game on that weekend, and I wonder if we're going to be seeing that same sort of squad here this afternoon. as a reminder, when we were going into our predictions at the start of that week, last weekend, Error 404 is a relatively new team, if I'm not mistaken. I believe created in season 11. They have now managed to qualify and get into the semifinals in their second season in the league. It is reminiscent of the Raptors squad when they came in, I think season 10 and then won season 11 last year, or technically last year. I'm very excited to see these matchups here this afternoon. Sky, I want to go to you and talk about this Raptors Rome matchup that we're going to be getting in here to start things off. Rome obviously qualifying alongside Error 404. Alongside Error 404 in Group A. I mean, talk to me about both of these teams and this matchup here.
So one thing to note, as we kind of touched up on last week, Rome having been swapped around so many times with so many ex-players and so many roster changes, it's really hard to plan ahead for them. On the flip side, you have Raptors, who's virtually unchanged, with the exception of, I think, one Lobster, an old member, and Rypick being a new member. But other than that, it's been pretty much the same squad. So it's a lot easier to prepare for what Raptors might do. However, it's going to be really tough to prepare for what Rome might do. So that could come into play to what we see in the first match.
It's going to be exciting. They have, correct me if I'm wrong here, they have faced off against each other already this season as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what was the outcome of that matchup?
Rome did take it away. I believe it was 2-10 or 12. I believe is the total. Yeah, it would have been 12. So 2-12 maybe.
So something to look forward to. And I also do want to sort of look back on the Raptors matchups as well. When they went up against Boss Fight in that Group B stage, they had nearly lost the series to them. It was not looking good. Boss Fight really came in strong and were playing a powerful couple of rounds. And it wasn't until Raptors capped on Snow Peak that they really started to change things around. And I think, to me, it's an indicator that this Raptors team is really here to stay, right? They are not a squad that is going to easily forfeit rounds, Sky. They're going to be competing all the way down to the wire, even if it means that they're going to send their last player in to try and cap that objective. I mean, we are really in for some good matchups here this afternoon. TV, I want to go to you and get your thoughts on this fact as well. Beginners are not here. They're a team that has historically been up in this group, up in the semifinals for a long time. And I want to get your thoughts on them not qualifying, them going up against Raptors. I mean,
it was very interesting to see because, as most people know, beginners have won 5 championships, which is a lot, especially since this is the 12th season. So that's almost 50% of the championships. And so them losing was a huge upset, and it was fun to watch. It was really nice to see. I mean, it's going to be a very different season because neither they aren't in the finals.
Yeah, it's a big change for us to see, and we're looking at the replay here of that final round between Raptors and Beginners on Bazaar. It felt like so many of these rounds, Sky, really did come down to 3-3s. When I looked back on it, we had actually a lot of 3-3 rounds in the group stage, and I feel like that's what we should expect here this afternoon. I think we should expect 1v1s down to the wire, the final, trade resulting in a win. And it's going to just be some absolutely thrilling matchups for us to be tuning into. And so, again, that's going to be coming at you in just a few minutes here. The first matchup, again, going to be Raptors versus Rome. But we also have to look to our second matchup of the afternoon, Boss Fight versus Error 404. And Visceral, I'll go to you because we had the similar talking points last weekend when it was Vikings who were alone in the group stage as that EU representative. What do you think we're going to see with the Error 404 versus Boss Fight matchup as our second matchup this afternoon? I mean, I can't believe that we get to watch these two back to back. It's going to be so insanely exciting. I don't know what to expect at all, but I want to get your thoughts on our second matchup of this afternoon, which is going to be that Boss Fight Error 404.
Yeah, we know Error 404 knows how to bring the heat. They push aggressively.
Yep.
And Boss Fight, while they've been able to do really well with adapting, they tend to play it a little slower. And so it'll be interesting to see how the aggression from Error 404 meets that calculated precision of Boss Fight.
Yeah, and I think one thing we've talked about a little bit, Sky, is that we have these sort of metas that have developed in the EU and NA side of things. But, you know, again, looking back, Boss Fight played some fast rounds. They had some quick plays, and Error 404 in that round against beginners didn't push until the final minute, 2 minutes, very much like an EU squad. I feel like we may not necessarily see a distinct strategy from either one. I mean, what are your thoughts on the EU-NA matchup here?
So, in the last couple weeks, we've seen the best of the teams, right? Well, here we're seeing the best of the teams. And once you're getting to that level of play, I think at this point, these teams are going to have any play style in their pocket to some degree. Yes, they're going to have their specialty, but they're going to be able to do a wide mix and a good variety of different things. And at this point, they're going to be bringing it out. They're going to pull out any sort of playstyle that they think is going to give them the upper hand. So I think we're going to see, like I said, a wide variety of various playstyles.
TBN, I'll come to you last and not least. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Boss Fight Raptors pairing? Anything left to be said that hasn't already?
No, but I think that maybe we'll see a random strategy, just some random thing that hasn't been done before, just to throw off the other team. I feel like one of them has been holding a very meta spot for a while, and they're going to whip it out today.
No, that's a great point, TB, and I'd like you to elaborate more on that, because we are now into the point where the pressure is on, where, you know, it is the top of the top matchups. It is the last chance for you to continue your season and advance on. It is, if you don't win here, then you are going to be playing for that third place position tomorrow. You're not getting the opportunity to compete for the number one spot. You're not getting an opportunity to compete for what is that first place prize pool of $4,000 in cash. And then DPI merch, HyperX merch, VR cover merch, and Arma jerseys. That's what's on the line here today and tomorrow for that first place. And so I want to get your perspective here. The pressure's got to be a factor for these teams as well, right?
Oh, definitely. I couldn't. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of pressure. So much. I couldn't even imagine. Just feeling the pressure from casting. These matches, my anxiety goes through the roof watching people almost cap and stuff. I can't imagine what they're feeling playing those matches. So.
Yeah, the physicality of it factored in to obviously the elevated heart rate. Even now, as we get closer and closer to this first match, I am starting to get more and more excited. I can feel the adrenaline pumping, and I'm not even competing for that prize pool. Going to be very exciting to see what we get out of both of these teams. And as we get closer to that time to get into the gameplay, I do have to ask the tough questions. Who is going to be advancing into the finals tomorrow, and who is going to be playing for that third place position? Who is going to win Raptors in Rome, and who is going to win Error 404 and Boss Fight? Sky, I'll start with you. What do you think?
All right, so coming up in this first match, it's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to lean towards Raptors. I'm thinking that their overall strategy and their overall mindset is gonna push them just enough ahead of Rome. And in the second matchup, you know, Boss Fight's just looking so good. I mean, 404 pulled out some big plays, but I felt they were just a little wavering and a little too inconsistent, and I felt Boss Fight just maintained their headway the whole time. And I think we're going to see that once again here today.
Man, it's hard to predict. Visceral, you're next. Who do you think is coming out winning these two matchups?
Okay. So for our first matchup, Rome versus Raptors, that one is going to be one to see. You know what? I was rooting Rome in the first round robin there, and I think we're going to see Rome come out on top in our first matchup today.
Okay.
Second matchup in Error 404 versus Boss Fight. I am going to lean in Boss Fight's favor.
Interesting. The EU presence here. That would be quite something in NA EU finals. Would love to see it. Last but not least, TBN. What do you think we're going to get here for our winners?
I'm going to go similar with Sky on the Raptors pick because I feel like just the pressure Rome's going to be feeling of versing Raptors in a place where they've been before and they've won it. So I feel like the pressure is just going to push Rome to the edge. So, and then for the second matchup, I feel like Arrow 4-4 is going to take it just because their aggressiveness. Maybe they were a bit sloppy earlier, but I feel like they can definitely pull off something that Boss Fight isn't ready for.
Man. For my predictions, I think I'm going to go... Oh, gosh. I think I'm going to go Raptors Boss Fight as well. I feel like we are going to see that matchup in the finals. It's going to be incredibly hype regardless, and I really don't know what direction we're going to go in here. And if we're going to have that NA-EU finals or if it's going to be NA-NA, who knows what we get. Regardless, like we've said today, it's going to be good. And it's only 5 minutes away before we dive in to the first game of the afternoon. Do not go anywhere. We do appreciate you all stopping by for the pre-show, but the action begins in just a few moments. The semifinals of the Season 12 postseason coming at you. be live.
Welcome everyone to VRML Season 12 Semifinals. I'm your host, Lord Visceral. With me today is my co-caster, TBN Royal. How are you doing today, TBN?
Amazing. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Bringing to you today Rome versus Raptors, our first matchup of the semifinals today. And these teams are playing for a prize pool of $10,000. With all three, first, second, and third combined, we've got over $7,000 in cash. We have merchandise from Downpour. We have merchandise from HyperX, VR Cover, and Arma. These teams are definitely going to be enjoying the stocks from ProTube. We have some cash coming in from them. Maybe they'll be able to pick up some of those stocks. ProTube has some amazing stocks for VR. Starting up today, we are going to be bringing you Cargo. That'll be our first map of today. The bands from Rome, we have Bazaar. And from Raptors, we see a ban of Abandoned. A little bit of a medium map in Bazaar, a little bit of a longer range map in Abandoned. We saw a fair bit of Bazaar played in the round robins. We saw Abandoned only a couple of times in there. Some of the teams did better than others for sure. TBN, what do you think about these bans? We kind of coming from a banning against enemy strength, banning against personal weaknesses. Where are we at with that?
I'm seeing banning. I think I'm seeing a bit of personal weaknesses for Rome banning. For their ban, most teams when you verse Raptors, you ban quarantine, and then for Raptors banning Abandoned, definitely banning against Rome's strong pick. So we're seeing both here today.
Very nice. Looking at the kind of all-time history with these teams for the map that we will be seeing, Rome has squared off in league matches on Cargo 55 times, winning over half of those. So we're expecting some solid plays there. But Raptors, on the other hand, have only seen this 7 times in their shorter history so far, but they have done very well. Winning 71% of those. 5 out of the 7 times they've been to Cargo, they have come out on top. So it'll be interesting to see how those two vastly different histories play out against this slightly updated Cargo map. The Season 12 did see some map additions. Some of the longer angles were taken out with some new cargo container placements. So the meta kind of shaken up there a little bit.
Yep, no more pre-firing.
Absolutely. The first objective we're going to be seeing today is one of the northern objectives, the one that is just on the south end of the red container. So we will have Rome on Marsoc first. They will be attempting to capture that objective. For anyone joining us that might not be familiar with Onward, this is a 5v5 military simulation where the attacking team, Marsoc, has to get to a objective. It is a satellite dish where they will enter a 7-digit code that they must memorize ahead of time. You can't see the code while you are entering it. You can check it other times throughout the match. In the meantime, Raptors being our Volk team, our defensive team, they are going to need to either get the time run out without the code being put in, or eliminate all Marsoc players.
And for Marsoc, which is Rome is taking Marsoc on today, they have to send the objective or take out all the Volk. So
absolutely. And these teams, after the first round, will switch places, where Rome will be attempting to defend the very same objective with Raptors attempting to attack it. And then after each team has had their go at an objective, we will change locations and mix things up for the third round here. On the Rome side today, we have Captain Soda, Aruvati, Varix, Chawi, and Ree. On Raptors today, we are seeing Rypick, Soldier Z, Massino, and Distorted, with just one slot left to fill. They are rounding out their roster before we begin today, figuring out who is going to be that 5th pick for Raptors.
I'm guessing, seeing the history of Raptors, they tend to play the same 5, so I'm guessing it's going to be Tiger Striker, but we might be able to see a roster switch up today, which would
Absolutely. And these teams do have more than 5 players on each of these teams, each one bringing in 7 to the finals here. So we are likely to see some substitutes out for different maps today. The teams are known for having players that are just a little better at close quarters or long range. You've got your snipers and your heavy hitters, and we'll have some excellent play from all players on these teams today, I do anticipate.
And we're going to see Marksman hop in. Probably should have... Yeah, Marksman. Makes sense, but Marksman is known for being a Marksman, so I was guessing Tiger Striker. I was wrong.
There we go. As you said, we do have our 5th in Marksman on the Raptor side. Cargo, the map that we will be bringing to you first here today, is one of, if not the smallest map in the pool. And so we have started off with what is likely to be some very fast and very quick, intense gameplay here, as these teams will be able to see each other seconds after the round begins. The Marsoc players do have 6 minutes to attack the objective, and it's going to be fairly rare that we see it take that long on this small of a map, because, again, being able to see each other just a few seconds in, we are likely to be down 1 or 2 players early on, as they rush in and try to hold the center of the map against any flanking defenders and just try and push their way into that OBJ.
Which means it is possible we might see a cap today in the first map, which would be pretty fun and interesting, whether they use smokes or not.
Absolutely. If the Marsoc team does pull off the cap, if they do secure the objective, they get 2 points. The maps are played first to 4 points, and so a single cap gets you halfway to victory. So that is what the Raptors in this first round here are going to be looking to prevent. Everything is about do not let Marsoc cap. That can really set you behind moving into your first rounds on a map. Once Rome and Raptors are done today, we will have Boss Fight versus Error 404, where they, immediately after this today, they will have an opportunity to play for the finals tomorrow. The winner from this match and the winner from the next match with Error 404 and Boss Fight will go head-to-head tomorrow, after the loser of today's matchups fight for 3rd place tomorrow morning. Same time, same channel. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be first playing for 3rd, and then we will bring you the final round to determine who will take out the 1st place and who will be down in 2nd place in a best of 5. Today we're going to be bringing you a best of 3. We will play 3 maps today. Here we are heading into round 1, map 1 of the semifinals.
1, 2, 3. 3. Raptors. All right, boys, let's go.
Raptors having a chant where they huddled around and raised their hands.
This is an utility out right away from both teams. The flash goes over from Soldiers. Smoke's coming in from Marsoc. Another utility up from Soldiers there.
And
We have
Marsoc. Oh, you go ahead. No.
With Chawi and Soda moving up on the right in the east here, they're going to be encountering this kind of diagonal line across the front and back of the objective. We do have Soldiers trading with Ree. Varric's able to confirm. Ree still resable. Gets that res off there.
Yeah, nice.
Get some more fire from Vadi.
Yep. Return fire from seems to be distorted.
Ree and Marksman trade. Messino trying to hold that angle down from Vadi and Varric's push. Messino catches Vati. We're down now to a 3v3 as a flash comes in from Distorted to slow down Varric's here.
Kill building up.
Flash.
Yeah, got him dead on there.
It's a 3v3, so.
Yeah, the Raptors primarily on the left there. They were getting some rotations to help cover this east side here as well. Distorted and Rypick go down. We're down to just one Raptor left. Messino left, the only one to be able to defend this objective from 3 players of Rome. And he goes out in the open to defend and stop the cap. He does go down, securing the first point for Rome. We got less than 2 minutes into the round, and we have our first point. Exactly what we were expecting here for Cargo. Quick-paced, fun, fast, onward action.
Something I'd like to mention before we get fully up into this action. There are sponsors, and the sponsors, most people talk about the big ones, but one that I know that most people don't get to is Nightfire. Nightfire actually provides some of the money that is in the final prize pool, so yeah, just thank him for some of the money, thank them for some of the money that is provided for the tournament, the finals.
Absolutely. We do have some awesome prizes here, as I was mentioning earlier, and TBN calling out one of the only sponsors that had not been mentioned thus far. The last one, of course, being VRML itself, putting in some of the money for this prize pool and what these players are going to be playing for. The first place prize containing over $4,000 in cash. Second place, $2,000. Third place, $1,000. These teams are made it. I mean, we are down to the last 4 teams for the season, so only one of these teams will walk away empty-handed. The rest will at least get something, but you know they're all playing for that first prize pool. With that, we do have the second round, with Rome being on the defense here for the same objective. Discussing who on the enemy team is going to be pushing what angle. These teams are familiar with each other. They've played each other many times. They've watched each other play other teams. Very familiar here. We do have a lot of fire coming out in the east. Soldiers going down to Chawi.
Ooh, beautiful flash is gonna get Chewy. Chewy's gonna go down to
An excellent pickup there, bringing us down to a 4v4, which is 30 seconds in. Messino trying to get an eye on Ree's position, not going to be visible in that container there. Well held. Good little defensive position to stop any west push from going out. We do have... Go ahead.
I believe that Marksman did get a call out that
One call out
Captain
barrels.
did rotate to the barrels, so I think they have a decent information on where they're.
Some fire coming out from Marksman as Rome is just tucked in here, waiting for Raptors to push in and make a mistake. Raptors hoping to get a pick, seeing a cross, seeing a rotation from Rome, and just trying to pick apart some of this
One in center,
defense.
two still.
Lots of call-outs from Ree here as he hears different things being thrown, different people running around. Right, a flash come out. We might see a push
One in
from
the back,
Distorted
far back
here.
left. Where the fuck is that, Reed? In their spawn still.
Rome saying that they really haven't pushed up past the middle point of the map yet, saying that they're still sitting in their spawn.
Barracks gets Distorted, who did push out from the tunnel there. A great pickup for Rome.
One still in center.
Meanwhile,
Two.
the remaining Raptors are just slowly making their way up.
Possibly center
They
three.
do have more than half the time left on a map that takes you probably 20 seconds to get from one side to the other. They have plenty of time here to try and bait Rome into making a mistake.
Yep, and it seems they're trying to flash Captain to eliminate. Oh, there goes Vadi. Vadi gets marked.
Yeah, bringing us down to just 2 Raptors. They seem to be getting a little peaky, getting a little impatient there. Vati also gets Rye pick down, leaving just Messino, who goes down to Ree. An excellent defensive hold from Rome, staying disciplined, staying tucked in, and knowing that Raptors had to come to them, otherwise we would just run out of time. They had that Volk advantage. They knew that the Marsoc team did have to make the first move, so they stayed tucked in, and it did work for them extremely well. Did pay off in the end there. Now we move down to this gas tank objective down here in the south, a completely different side of the map. We're going to see some different lanes taken here. We have a very dark corner that you can defend this objective from. It's been lightened a little bit in recent updates, but we still see a lot of play with that, so the Rome team is going to have to play around that defensive angle as they're planning their strategy here for how they're going to get in and get this cap. At this point, Rome 2-0 against Raptors, and they could be thinking a cap here. What do you think, T-Dan?
I think, yeah, they definitely are going to go for that cap, especially since this one is really hard to defend. Especially if there's only one person left. If you smoke some, you could definitely jump on that last person. It's also harder because the defense spawns on the other, well, side. Well, I'm not like side of the map, but on the opposite side of the objective on their side of the map. So they have to make a cross that maybe they don't want to. And so
yeah, moving from the southwest to the southeast where the objective is can be a little dicey. A little bit easier now with some of those map changes I mentioned earlier. But we are headed down to round 3 as Raptors try to hold their ground and stop this momentum from Rome. We do see 3 Raptors heading off to the east here, 2 in the west. Lots of pre-fire coming out from Ree. Rome rapidly pushed up to the center of the map here, but are now just holding position, trying to see if they can catch any of the Raptors. Varix and Ree able to pick up Messino, but Messino is able to get Varix down in a trade there, bringing us to a 4-4. Some utilities have gone out to help this aggression here. But so far, they still haven't really pushed up past this mid-line. Probably hoping to get some picks off on Raptors' defense. They were able to be more patient than Raptors, I think, last round. They might be looking to repeat that again here today. in this round.
Marksman in a great spot. If only they would push tunnel, then they would be able to get past Marksman, but they're not going to.
That tunnels can be a dangerous commitment in this. It's a very long tunnel with no exit once you get in there. Marksman able to pick up Ree and Soda. Vati's going to swing in for the refrag there. We are down to a 2v3, and Vati has taken the south.
I pick watching. Oh! And there goes Vati, leaving Chewy all alone against a 3-man team on defense.
Are we holding that dark alley here, just waiting to see if one of the Raptors is going to come a peeking? So far, they're staying tucked in and holding their positions. Distorted shuffling around down there, might be considering checking this angle. But so far, Raptors staying disciplined, staying tucked in tight.
They did have that trade, so they might think that's a 3v2.
Correct. Their kill count might be off from trading, so they might expect there to be more than one Rome player left up here. We do have the benefit of being the eye in the sky. We can see where everyone is at in game. They don't have the outlines, the names, the lasers. Distorted picks up Chawi, securing their first point and just halting that momentum from Raptors. What an excellent hold to defend there. Marksman with a great angle to be able to pick up several people. Rypick able to get the refrag on Devati. Just well-held defensive locations, and their strategy to know, okay, if this person goes down, I am going to be able to get that refrag. That is so important in this game. The strategy of knowing not only am I holding the position, but my buddy has my back. We hold our lines, and nobody is going to get in here. We don't need to rotate. We can stay tucked in tight because we have this planned out, and it was beautifully executed from Raptors there to halt that Rome momentum and just get their points on the board.
Yep. I also like to point out that even if you don't get kills, you're still being the team to some soldiers rotating out of the position, which could have potentially ended the round a lot sooner, but they rotated to make sure that the objective was going to be covered because Marksman did end up going down. So it's important to play as a team even if you're not getting the kills.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's the points on the board, not the kill-death ratio that matters in this game. Onward is all about teamwork and communication. We now head into round 4 as Raptors attempt this same objective. Lots of fire coming out from Raptors. Lots of utilities going out. We see smokes, we see flashes. Rypick trying to do some pre-fire under Ree's position, but Ree's tucked in tight. Oh!
Team kill.
Soldiers gets Chawi, but Distorted takes down Rypick. Not what they wanted here. We are now at a 4v4 with that. We have Marksman with some extra utilities out there on Ree and Vati's position. Rome doing a great job of just holding the Raptors to this line and not letting them pass.
Ooh, the frag almost picking up Ree there.
Yeah, it was well thrown. Ree rotated out at just the right time.
Gonna allow Marksman to push up.
Ooh, he does get Marksman out, but Bassino gets the refrag.
Yes.
Bringing us to a 3v3.
Echo 3.
A very
Said earlier.
mutual violence going on here.
The kill count is off for Rome because they have no idea that Rypick, right, went down. Yeah, Rypick went down to the team kill. So they're probably thinking it's a 4v3 and they're gonna have to fight this off, and Reed probably didn't get the call that they took out Marksman in the center, so they could very well think it's a 5v3 still.
Meanwhile, we do have Distorted making his way through the tunnel, very careful not to make any noise. This tunnel is a dangerous commitment, as I mentioned before, but it can pay off extremely well. No one in Rome really has eyes on this entrance right now. This is going to allow Distorted to get into a flanking position and support Messino and Soldiers as they attempt to move up through the center of the map. Made it through. I believe he just saw Varix in the east there.
Yep. So did the Soldiers. Eric's in a very... Oh, so many lasers over them.
Yeah, they know the position, but Varix is just holding tight underneath the door there, waiting for one of the Raptors to make a mistake.
Sort of barely not being able to save Eric. Ooh. That leg swings too far. Could be a kill for Distorted.
Could be just barely behind cover there.
Or if
He's in a
Distorted...
great position to be able to stop Messino and Soldiers. Eyes all the way down the lane here.
Distorted maybe laid down, they might be able to pick off Eric's, but
Three,
it'd
right?
be
So
very
we got one over
hard.
there.
And the benefit of the eyes in the sky. It looks like he might have been trying there.
Eric's gonna peek it. Oh, wow. Varix makes it out barely alive.
Mid.
Soldiers has made the cross. He is now past Varix's position.
They now know that Varix is pushed out too far. And that Vadi's on OBJ, and they don't seem to know where Captain is. So, I have a pretty accurate location for the enemy.
And with Varix being all the way past the midpoint now, we only see Soda and Vati between Distorted and Soldier Z getting to the objective.
That's gonna be Messina going down to Varix.
A good flank from Varix, but Distorted able to pick up Vati, and now Soda.
Oh, wow.
Varix for the triple, putting the second point up on the board, tying us up 2-2. What an excellent flank position from Distorted there. Like I was saying earlier, that tunnel can be dangerous. You do get committed to going down the entire length, but he knew the kill count, had an idea of where the Raptors were, still took it low and slow, made it through it with very little noise, and that worked for him right there. He got the excellent flank off, able to pick apart Rome's defense. Just an excellent play from Distorted.
Oh yeah, definitely. Also, using the tunnel. Most people don't play the tunnel because it's known for being a kill box, but if you take the tunnel, you have access to pushing that entire side of the map. So, it's something you don't see often, but when it is played, it can be used very well.
Absolutely. Now that they've tied up, Rome needs to be a little more careful here. They might still be looking for the cap, just end this off 4-2, but they might just say, you know what, we just need to not trade Volk rounds from here on out. Because Raptors now have that kind of advantage. If they can hold their defense, they can win this here. Rome going to be looking to hold their advantage heading into round 5, map 1.
Let's go, baby. Mic click.
So the morale on the Raptors is probably going up as they're turning this map around. So they just, if they can keep this going, and if Rome keeps playing it fast, then the morale for Raptors might stay high, won't go down. Which is very key to successing or securing a win.
Fast smokes, that's fine.
Absolutely. And looking at the scoreboard here, we see a fairly symmetrical kill count, but Reed for Rome standing out a little bit with 4 kills. Messino with 4 as well from Raptors. We have a lot of utility coming out from Rome and Raptors here, as Rome has pushed up past the center. Raptors holding a heavy defense, very tight. All of them staying on the objective or farther north, basically, letting Rome pick up a lot of ground early. But now Raptors tucked in tight and are not looking to give up any more ground.
One frag in between Body and Ree would take them both out.
Messino catches Ree, gets the call out there. Distorted seems to be aware of Verix's position. Rypic able to take out Soda.
Showy gets hit.
It looks like he sees Showy there. Messino takes out Bati, and we're down to a 2v5. Just a kill box lane here for Raptors.
Left side, left side, left side.
I talk about not giving up any more ground, and they are holding it to that. Getting past the middle here seems to be impossible right now.
Chewy pinned down, knowing that they have been called out and spotted.
He is able to down soldiers, just downed. Nope, does get the confirm there.
Is Rome gonna be able to take this back?
Taking down one of them is going to be a great start, but there are still 4 defenders to 2. Verix and Showy definitely have their work cut out for them here.
3 minutes left. 3.5 minutes left, so they could do it, but it would be hard.
Distorted making full use of those 200-round box guns there. Just laying down the fire.
There we go. Good. I like this one.
Even Rome suppressed.
Right pick giving confirm to keep doing it as they find it helpful to keep right pick safe. Marksman might be
Probably moving up a little bit. On a little bit of ground here to the boxes. But Messino takes out Varix. Down to just one Rome left against 4 Raptors. Chawi trying to get a line on the Messino's position. Distorted rushes at him. He's able to take down Distorted. Less than 2.5 minutes down. Chawi now running at Rypic's position. Another pickup.
1v4 clutch? Is it gonna happen?
That's what he's going for here. And so far, so good. Able to bring us down to just 2 Raptors left. 2 minutes on the clock.
I mean,
He is starting to get danger close to the objective.
Yeah, Chewy has taken out all 3 of the Raptors members so far, so... Wow. And Chewy takes out a 4.
Another Raptor goes down. We're down into a 1v1. Are we going to see the clutch here? Almost hits him, gives away his position. Messino misses. And a trade. Raptors take it.
Chewy with the ace. Holy. Chewy with 5 kills.
What a round. being 1-4 and then coming back and ending it in a trade that could not have been closer.
No, they could not have. That was almost a 1v4 clutch from Rome.
He ran out of ammo. That is what stopped him there at the end. He had taken down so many Raptors that he ran out of ammo. Just when you've used everything you have, blood, sweat, and bullets across the field, and just barely coming up short. Oh, what a round. That is why you've tuned in to the Season 12 semifinals. These teams putting it all on the line. I was talking a little bit about the scoreboard before, and Chawi is now taking the top kills with that excellent round. On the Raptor side, Messino holding it down. Just excellent play from both teams here. With that, we move into round 6. Raptors now attempting to attack the objective they just defended. They know they don't need the cap, they just need the kills, and they will secure map 1, putting themselves in a great position for their map pick in round 2. Rypick, an excellent pickup right away here as Soda was trying to get to the barrels. Soldier Z trying to hold Ree's position off here.
One at the tunnel exit.
Some call outs from Ree, letting people know Distorted was thinking about taking the tunnel. It looks like he is about to commit here. This time a defender hanging out on the other side. It's going to be a dangerous path to take. Are we able to get Rypick?
4-on-4.
Help slow down this offensive over here in the east with soldiers and marksmen.
Not that, he's backside pipes.
Distorted now on the ground. This is a virtual reality game, so you know that Distorted is on the ground in real life. This is the only way to go prone in this game. He is crawling down this tunnel to make no noise against Ree. Marksman also on the ground trying to get a low angle onto one of the defenders during a rotation. So far, no luck there. Ree has stood up. Maybe he heard something. Maybe he's thinking about peeking the tunnel. Could be dangerous here with Distorted. It's about to come to blows. Looks like Distorted is ready to check that angle. Oh, and he gets Ree. An excellent pickup, bringing us to a 4v3 in Raptors' favor. Talking about the comebacks, they started this out 2-0. Rome up. Now we're sitting at a 3-2 in Raptors' favor, and they could be looking at map point right here.
One's left side on me, left side by me.
Distorted, just long angle down, trying to catch out one of these defenders. Chawi looks like he might get peeky here.
Distorted back up. Flashing.
Some good communication there from Raptors, letting Distorted know that a flash was coming out, so he doesn't get accidentally blinded by a teammate. He's going to allow this cross here. A defensive flash from Vati does slow down the push as it does catch Distorted. Now we're able to pick up Soldier Z, bringing us to a 3v3. Another utility just missing there. Distorted trades with Vati, but Distorted still resable. Messino on the other side of the map in a great position to stop Verix. Oh, but Marksman's going to be in the wrong side to prevent this confirm. Meanwhile, Messino holding a line, going to not allow Verix. Oh no, he's going for the cap. Tablet's out. He got the cap. Raptors win 5-2. What an ending there, to have a fairly good kill count, but to know, you know what, he's busy with my other teammate. I can get this cap now. And he rotated back through the container to check the objective, but didn't get around the container in time. What an excellent play there from Raptors to come back from 0-2 and take the map 5-2. What a play. Messino holding it down there. Got the cap. He got 10 kills, double digits that map. You can definitely see why they brought him in for map 1. For map 2, we are traveling to Snow Peak. We're moving from the smallest map in the pool to one of the largest. This map does have some variety in it, however. While it is a very large, very open map, the first objective that we will be seeing is actually one of the smallest close quarters objectives available. We will be heading deep into the underground tunnels for objective number 1.
Yeah, the last round, I think Vati got a bit too aggressive and maybe a bit overconfident in their ability to defend OBJ by themselves. And Messino took real good note of that and pushed up and capped. And since Vati was in a fight with another player, they were not able to realize that and were not able to get back to OBJ in time and check all the angles. And so it led to Messino getting that beautiful cap.
Absolutely. We are in for some exciting play for map number 2. And this just in, we will be joined by Nightfire, co-casting with us today for map 2.
Thank you for the intro, Visceral. I had to jump in and get the voice wet, if you will, for the action here today for our second map of Raptors in Rome. That first one, certainly exhilarating, and I am now very much looking forward to, like you said, a completely different feel and a very different vibe. Snow Peak's an interesting choice in that it does have also, like you mentioned, that close quarters. And so while it is a very different map than Cargo, we are actually going to be sticking with a similar theme of close quarters. The potential, however, is that there is some more range on this map. And it makes sense that Raptors have chosen into this when they have really standout shooters like Marksman, who can exceed in long-range environments like Snow Peak with that 12-time scope. They get the name Marksman for a reason. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that impacts Raptors, you know, based off of where the objective is placed. It's one of the fun things that I really do like about certain maps, in particular Quarantine, but obviously maps like Snow Peak 2 is just that there is more than, what, 4 objectives? You can only play 4 objectives in a map. And so there's more than 4 potential objectives on every map. But in particular, the variety that is Snow Peak, you just really don't know what you're going to get. Is it going to be indoors? Is it going to be close quarters? Am I going to have the opportunity to snipe? All these questions end up going through your head as a team. And I wonder if we'll see any substitutes here for Raptors going into this next map as we wait for 2 more folks to pop in. I don't think we are seeing any subs on Rome. I do see Captain Soda, Vadi, Varx, Ree, and Chawai on the Rome roster here. And, you know, I would think if any team was going to try something new or try and adjust something, it would be that Rome squad. But, you know, we talked a little bit about it in the pre-show with Royal. The pressure is on right now, Visceral, and these two teams are certainly feeling it. I can tell that Raptors are playing at an elevated level here this afternoon. When you're listening to their comms and how active they are, we're seeing some very focused plays from them. And with a pick of Cargo, of Rome's map pick going into Raptors' favor, Rome is at, I mean, there's a potential that this series is done after this map here.
Yeah, we saw Raptors on this map several times over the course of the finals so far, going from challenge up to now. And one thing that we've been surprised to see is the use of the Marsoc drone. I'm expecting Marksman to bring that out again here. Even in these close quarters objectives inside the building and tunnels, we have still seen drone usage. Most of the time just reserved for outdoor use, when you can get behind the enemy team, get above them, sit high in the sky, and be harder to identify. But we even saw it with this objective. And so I'm kind of expecting them to bring that out again and help identify Rome's positions before they move in.
Yeah, that's a great point. We don't often see or didn't see that drone in league play, but it was almost, it felt like every series it was coming out at least once in a series for all these teams in the group stage, both weekends. It was, I think, one of the sort of hidden strats, so to speak, that players had been honing in outside of league play, because again, we just didn't see a ton of drone usage in league play. It certainly was there. It's not like it wasn't utilized. Some teams definitely leaned on it to gain that oversight advantage, but yeah, I do anticipate that we see some more drone usage here on Snow Peak as oh, maybe we are going to see a sub on Rome. I don't know. We have the full 5 for Raptors now. Marksman, Messino, Rypic, Soldiers, and Distorted. So no subs on the Raptors side, it seems. I imagine we're just doing a quick reconnect for the 5th from Rome, but maybe a sub coming in there on Snow Peak. We'll have to wait and see, as we are just about ready to hop into our second map of the afternoon. Quick shout out to everybody that has been tuning in, whether you're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or Horizon venues. I do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out, enjoying the VR action. If you don't know, Horizon Venues is an app that you can download on your Quest or Quest 2, and you can tune into this action in VR with other folks in VR, watching it on a giant movie theater-sized TV screen. It's a really cool way to enjoy VR esports, and I'd highly recommend that you check it out for this weekend, as it will be where the gameplay will be for these two this match, Rome vs. Raptors, and Era 404 in boss fight, but also the third place and finals matchup tomorrow. And so you have your options, I suppose. And again, I do appreciate all of you folks stopping by to hang out and tune in to what has been quite an exhilarating map 1. Like Visceral said, I'll be hanging out for the rest of, well, let's see, the series, this map. Who knows, Visceral? It could be the end for Rome if they don't manage to climb back here on Raptors map pick.
And we are heading down into round 1 with Raptors getting a very quick objective here, easily able to spread out and attack this objective from the north, the west, and from the south here. And we are seeing a 2-1-2 split. Some early fire coming out from Marksman as Soda was checking the tunnel to see if he can identify the spawn. Nothing connects so far. Ree pushed up very far in the north. We're going to see a clash with Ree and Rypic
no quick spawn now,
momentarily.
no quick spawn.
Ree is rotated back a little bit, possibly heard the footsteps and call-outs, identify that there is going to be a attack coming in from the north.
You gotta just give them to me, bro.
Some interesting conversation there between Soldiers and Rypic. Soldiers saying, you should have given me the grenade to throw it. You know, we haven't talked about it so far, but you know, everything is in VR, like you mentioned, and throwing is in VR. You have to throw the grenade. Some players are better at throwing these nades than others. They have a good feel for how to toss a precise grenade, because it is very much a practiced skill, and some people are much better at it than others. And if you can place a grenade well, it means everything in the competitive scene of Onward, especially at the high level. And so we'll have to see if we do get some more nades. We've seen some great flashes so far this afternoon, but I wonder if we're going to start to see some nades come in here as Soda tries to challenge a very risky corner. They got Messino and Distorted watching the short and long range angle, and Soda feels that, yeah, they're not going to continue to stay out in that horseshoe because they could get pinched from both sides. Marksman could come in, Messino Distorted could push in, so Soda is very much stuck in a space where they have to push back. They had to drop back into the small alley, and now they're just holding one of those angles. The question is it going to be the right angle? As Distorted, Messino, and Marksman all do work up the horseshoe together. And again, we have to keep the attention split, as you also have that advancement from Soldiers and Rypick in the north.
You do the flashbang. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, some more utility. And Tom's coming out from the Rypick. Distorted, a great pickup on Soda. Is going to allow Distorted, Marksman, and Messino full reign in this horseshoe tunnel here.
What? Behind you?
Yeah, it's not what Rome want, but Varx is there and waiting for an advancement down. I wonder if there's a C4 tucked in somewhere, be placed somewhere on the shelves. I'm not quite sure, but Varx doesn't seem to have a clacker in hand, so I think they're just holding that audio angle and they're going to wait until the push comes. On the other side of things, Soldiers has advanced forward and is challenging Irvadi on objective. Irvadi actually flashing themselves with a unfortunate backwards grenade toss. Again, highlighting the difficulty and the challenge of throwing nades. They certainly don't have too much difficulty shooting their gun, though, as they find the head of their opponent across the box. Rypick now trying to trade back with Irvadi as they have to reload. And for now, the push gets held. Smokes come in to push out Varix from their position. Ree is still holding and waited, but Raptors are advancing in on standard defensive positions. Distorted challenges Ree with pre-fire, but it does not work. Ree flies the angle and catches one. A nice scoop up there, and again, we have to keep the attention split as Rypick and Irvadi are still battling it on the other side. Raptors doing a good job of dividing Rome, but Rome hanging in there and managing to battle back this push so far. Still, though, pretty close with the 3v4. We've seen 1v4 clutches come in already, and so nothing's out of the possible field there as Marksman does even the odds, 3-3.
An excellent pickup onto Varix there means that the path to the objective is a lot more open for Marksman, but re-rotates and gets the kill, getting the refrag for Marksman, bringing us down to a 2v3. The defense now flanked. If Rypick and Messino can coordinate properly, and we could see some excellently timed action here, which will be what they need to do if they're going to push onto this Rome defense. Ooh, the shots come out from Chowie, taking down Messino, bringing us down to just 1v3. And they know exactly where Rypick is at, as he's trading shots still with Vadi in the north.
You're like an inch away.
Really trying to find that small gap. Rypick and Irvadi talking to each other. Irvadi mentioning how close they are to being shot, but just the bullets barely missing their tucked in position. And, you know, there's nothing Rypick can really do about it. They are trying to threaten with free fire. They're trying to get rid of Vadi, but as long as Vadi stays there, the only choice Rypick has to push this lane is to push it and extend out from their cover, and they will have to do that as the clock is down to 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on the clock. Rypick is going to be hearing that buzzer in his ear as it chimes to let him know that he is out of time. And with 3 defenders left to push through, he is going to have his work cut out for him.
Nice try.
And Body, with the tight angle through the boxes, does pick him up and put the first point on the board for Rome.
What you expect when we get to this stage with these teams, you know, the high level of gameplay is here to stay. These teams are disciplined, you know, in Rome, not overextending. I guess I suppose a little bit there with Soda, but once they lost Soda, staying tucked in and patiently waiting for the team to come to them, it's hard to do in a game like Onward, even harder when the pressure's on, as you really do want to try and find those individual picks for yourself. Obviously when the camera is on, some people really do like to stand out. They do well under pressure, but not the case here for Rome. Just playing disciplined defense, and I really think we'll see, if anything, the unique plays come out on offense. I don't know that teams are going to get terribly risky on defense, although as I say that, we did see some pretty aggressive defensive rounds on Cargo of all maps. They did push up to the midfield and contest on defense in the semifinals when the pressure is on to the highest extent. So anything, I suppose, could happen. Rome could play this spawn very fast. We could have action within the first 45 seconds, depending on how Rome want to challenge the objective here as we get into round 2.
Yeah, this objective is quick spawn for this, or this spawn is quick spawn for this objective, and we do have Soda and Chawai and pushing up from the south along with Ree. Yeah, Distorted now past Ree and Chawai's position, does identify Ree's position and fire on it. Dodges the shots from Chawai until he comes out and gets him through the boxes here. An excellent first strike for Rome onto Raptors here. Leaves the south end of the objective very open.
Soda looking at 2 potentially as Soldiers flies out. Marksman is here. Soda catches 1 in the head, but Soldiers fires over the top. Meanwhile, the rest of the offense comes pushing in. Ree had control of the lane as Soldiers now retakes up their angle. And Ree's going to challenge the corner just a little bit too late. Soldiers was able to tuck back in. Rypick finds another kill up through the center, through the smokes of all things, so they don't even know that they have that kill down. Meanwhile, the rest of Rome completely disconnected. And I gotta wonder what the plan was from the Rome team by sending Irvadi and, where's the second? Varix over here all the way to the north, just with completely out of sync.
Yeah, it's rare for teams to have a long flank after getting quick spawn, especially if the players taking advantage of quick spawn are going to be rushing so fast. The clash between Rome and Raptors in the south taking place what is likely to be a full minute before the remainder of Rome get in position to attack from the north.
They got 1 kill.
And with such a delay, the Raptors are going to be suspicious and will be watching this angle. Of course, they're not like going to get rid of the angle in the south. They do have a lot to watch, but they're going to start to know, something's wrong here.
Yeah. However, it is kind of weird. Why would 3 be right there and then the other 2 so out of, it's almost like because they are so out of sync that maybe they'll keep holding that forward angle, anticipating the 2 to just be playing it patient or something. Who knows at this stage, because it is a bit odd. And again, they don't have any coverage. They don't have any eyes other than Messino, who's out in the middle of the open watching this side. Rypick's also vulnerable for a second there. They could have had their elbows clipped. But it really is just Messino, I would say, casually watching this side. Now the flashes come in.
One north.
And that is some information.
Yeah, you can go box as well.
As Messino does cover the angle. Vadi able to get past their angle. And that's going to be bad news for the defense as Messino does push forward off of the smoke. A nice aggressive swing utilizing the offensive smoke to their advantage.
They've now smoked out both sides of Messino, giving them some great coverage to be able to advance. Meanwhile, Varix is breaking off. They might be going for a kind of counter flank from Horseshoe. Defensive flashes come in. They do not get Vati. Soldiers attempting to take advantage of those flashes. Does go down. Hadi able to pick up Messino as well, leaving us down to a 2v1. Rypick, now the only remaining Raptor, what started off with a pick from Rome and then a great comeback from Raptors, is now swinging back into Rome's hands.
You know, what do we know at the desk, right? We just see what we see and comment on it, but this play clearly worked for Rome. The duo over in the north, Irvadi and Varix clutching it up. Varix peeling off. I thought that was going to be a potential bad idea. They end up finding the final kill. The players know best at the end of the day, and the Rome team definitely clutches a 2v3 opportunity they presented to themselves. Great action off of the smokes. Good shots coming in. I mean, good job avoiding the double flash. Just a lot of little nuance elements there for the Rome team that do net them a 2-0 lead. And doesn't this feel familiar?
Very true. And you're getting in the head of Raptors there. You had 4 utility grenades thrown in the north. You had 2 flashes, 2 smokes, and with an accurate kill count, you know both Rome players are in the north now.
Yeah.
And I think that is what triggered these rotations from Raptors, thinking, you know, they're both up there, and it took them so long. Will they even try to rotate again? And they did, and it worked.
Raptors took some risks there for sure. You know, that defensive position taken up by, I think it was Distorted in between the pipes, in between the smokes. That has a time limit on it, right? That smoke, as soon as it dissipated, they were dead. Their cover was gone. They had lost the element of that defensive position. And so I liked the initial aggressive play on the rotation, but it was then, you know, the adjustment off of that smoke dissipating that didn't come through, and Vadi ultimately locking in the W there for Rome with a couple of kills from that side. And we now go to our next round, our next objective. Every round we swap sides, every 2 we change OBJs, and we are out into the outdoors, the great outdoors, the range that I think Raptors were looking for in this map pick. And so we'll have to see. Already Reed takes some shots from distance. Distorted nearly catches one, but can't quite find the second bullet they need to finish them off.
No kill.
Look at this. Everybody on Raptors is looking for a long-range pick right now. You have Distorted. You have Rypick in the distance. Messino as well. Where is Marksman is my question.
One's on North Tesco's.
Oh, they're utilizing the drone. And there we go. The drone has come out.
From the front of the south or north base.
Yeah, the infamous drone that we mentioned earlier is being utilized now that we're out in the open. And
one's at the helicopter. He's
so
running back
far
now.
It seems
at
to be
helicopter,
unidentified
from
Rome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we
I
know
can.
that it was used so much last weekend that they will at least have an inkling that it could come out again.
Right, there's one by the
Keep their
shooter
eyes
fence
open
on
for
the
it.
lake side of the base.
But Marksman so far has done an excellent job
Crazy.
keeping that hidden.
Yeah, I don't know how they're just... Do you have an angle on? Do you have the camera on? I don't know where that drone is, but it is just hovering over the defense, apparently. Oh, there it is. I spotted it. In the middle of the lake. They're identifying from quite a ways away, and it's keeping the drone silent. But, I mean, look at this. They have a perfect vision all the way down in to this objective. They see Ree clear as day in a position that is risky and often, I would say, a little bit off meta, but it's exposed. You're exposed ultimately when the push comes in. You don't have much cover. And so them being identified here could be, well, the start of bad news for a push if Raptors decide to push in. You can see their shots coming towards Rome through the window, but just barely missing from Distorted. And now we have a little bit of a negotiation going on between Vadi and Distorted as some shots come out.
Yeah, we saw this tactic against Boss Fight when Raptors played them on Snow Peak, where Marksman just waited in the back with his drone, identifying every single position of the defense. And, I mean, that round alone ended in a cap for Raptors right under Boss Fight's nose because they had so much information. And just having that informational advantage. The informational advantage from that is incredible in a game like Onward, where, you know, the teamwork is key, and being able to call out all of those defensive positions should net Raptors a huge advantage here.
We're really hearing, I mean, the most focused comms I've heard out of these two teams. You know, pressure is on, it's tournament time. And they are very dialed in, to your point. They are very precise. There's no real fat on the bone, so to speak, within their comms. And that's what you need at this stage. They have practiced this stuff. They have memorized their call-outs for different things. They have, it's the best of the best on display here this afternoon. And, well, Rome want to take this to a map 3 decider. They do not want to allow Raptors to take their map pick of all things away from them like they did 5-2 of all, you know, with a cap to really put the hurt on. And so it is a big map here for Rome, and even bigger round if they could set themselves up 3-0. The task of weathering the Raptors' attack, though, is coming up. 2 minutes left on the clock, Visceral. They're going to have to advance. And like I said, once Reed's position is known, it's exposed. Soldiers pops up over, knows right where Reed is, finds that kill. And now they're going to advance off of the information that has been collected by Marksman. And Marksman will be rejoining the squad over on Lakeside, it seems, for Overwatch, while they push in with 1.5 minutes on the clock. Varks, Irvadi, Soda, everybody with Chawai on the helicopter all tucked in and playing disciplined. Really, no one pushing out and getting aggressive looking for picks right now because they don't need to. The offense has to push to them. Clock's ticking.
Yeah, just 1:15 left, and the Raptors ready to make their push. Then we've seen some rotations from Rome, so some of their information will be outdated from Marksman. But as far as I know, Rome's still in the air somewhere, so could still bring that back out. Chawai, great pickup from Messino. But he is just downed. He will be able to call out possible res. Only 45 seconds left in the match.
What an interesting defense. We'll talk more about it after this round because the action is unfolding. 40 seconds left. Right pick comes in, but Chawai is there on the corner to catch the pick. Varix and Chawai, the final two holders of this OBJ. Raptors have 3, and they know Chawai's position. The flash comes up and over, and it does not catch them. Chawai counter-flashing just at the right time. 23 seconds left. There come shots from Varix, giving away their position as they then tuck back away and rotate around. Soldiers catches Chawai, but there's only 15 seconds left. Marksman and Raptors capable of capping very fast. So it's going to come down to Varix holding on to the defense, and Soldiers trades down. Messino and Marksman survive. Raptors put one on the board, and this feels familiar too. The comeback starts for Raptors on the second map of the afternoon.
Yeah, you know Rome is going to be feeling a little bit of deja vu here from Cargo. Being 2 up and then going 5 points unanswered. You know that will be in their head, in the tint, as they're preparing for this next offense.
Yeah. I love VR esports and I love Onward. It's a very physical game. It's a very mental game. And it really, you just get to see teams test it at a competitive level in a lot of ways. You get to see players and how they react to having to process so much information. You know, comms, their own views, where their teammates are, memorize all these spots. It is a very memory-intensive game when it comes down to it. You don't have a UI, you don't have a map overlay that tells you map coordinates and map positions, other than the small portion of the map on your tablet when you can see it. And so it is a very mental game, and it's also super physical with these teams, you know, getting prone, throwing these flashes. It's so fun to watch the ultimate test of a squad when we're into this stage of the postseason, and we really are seeing it on display here today. I think just a different mental game being played by both teams here this afternoon in comparison to what they would normally be going up against in regular season. And so it does leave the question of what is going to happen and how, because there's even though these teams have played in regular season, even though Rome has beat Raptors in the past, it doesn't mean it's going to happen here. It doesn't mean Raptors are going to let this one slide. And we saw them battle back against Boss Fight on Snoke Peak. We saw them battle back against Beginners. They are a team that does not let go of rounds, and Rome have to know that as they do get another lead here, now only 2-1, as Raptors try and chip away, even the odds, and, well, again, try and come back from the same situation they found themselves in Cargo.
Yeah, as we head into round 4, one thing that I've noted right away is we do have a MARSOC drone. Bringing the MARSOC drone in for Rome, likely looking to duplicate that expert information, those call-outs, being able to identify the Raptors' position and beat them at their own game.
Yep, it is something we've seen come from both teams and from many teams in that group stage. The, top 8 certainly utilizing the drone, and it's got me thinking about next season already, in that I'm sure we're going to see a lot more drone play throughout the league, whether it's in bronze, silver, diamond. I imagine that a lot more teams, after watching this postseason, are going to be utilizing the drone on offense, because it is just a huge element to an attack. As you see the drone up here, it gets a bit too close, and it's almost as if Distorted was just looking in the sky to find that drone, as they instantly work their way up and find that I guess I was about to say kill, but they down the drone and eliminate that aerial advantage. Distorted then rotates off of their position, but it's a little bit too late, as the rest of Rome has already pushed up and is suppressing them, preventing any more movement.
Yeah, you know that the drone holding a similar location to where Marksman had it was going to be a dangerous play there, but I don't believe Rome knew that's where Marksman had it before, and Marksman's was a little farther away, a little harder to identify.
Yep.
A great pickup from Distorted there to be able to take it down that early. It is going to prevent a lot of information from being leaked here.
And Vis, I brought it up. We're seeing disciplined defense. Look at Soldiers. They are risky out here on this forward spot, and it pays off, at least with 1 kill. Is that worth, is the question, because Soda's down now and can be red, so actually it's going to be advantage Rome off of the aggressive defensive position there from Raptors.
Yeah, it'll give away a little bit of information to Raptors, but not worth a life.
Yeah, especially since Distorted already was sort of aware there was someone over here. But, yeah, they are now obviously aware of this push. Hawaii does go down, trying to work their way across the lake. And so that is going to be one element of Rome's offense where they just won't be able to really pinch this defense. It's going to be essentially a frontal assault. And it'll be up to Raptors to recognize that as Distorted goes down to Soda's frontal assault. They find the kills, and now we'll have to see if Marksman, Messino, and Rypick are going to stay tucked in.
Soda needs syringe.
Look at the teamwork here. Ree gets tagged and they don't have a heal. Soda's going to be the one to heal.
Send it down so I don't lose it here.
An excellent smoke lands right at Messino's feet, but because of that, he is able to toss it back. So smoke now headed back towards Rome there. One of the benefits of virtual reality is the smoke grenade's just an object. You pick it up like anything else and throw it around.
Gotta love the DPI team for creating this game and having all the nuance elements of what you'd expect out of a game made for VR. It is
Sniper Tarbine.
A shout out to them, as they certainly do deserve it for being a sponsor as well, but obviously for providing this fantastic game. 2 minutes left, the push coming in. Rome advancing into the 4v3 that they have as flashes come out to try and initially stall the advancement. Messino and Rypick both dishing them out. Messino throws up another one as Rypick goes down to Varus on that Overwatch position. It leaves Raptors down to 2. Not looking good for the comeback train here, as they need a few more bits of coal into that fire. The engine's starting to slow down. Rome advancing into the objective. Do you think it caps in the cards? I don't know with Marksman still alive. It seems unlikely. Soda finds the refrag as Messino gets 1, makes it a 3v1. It's all up to Marksman to clutch.
It's not looking good, but that said, Marksman just able to pick up Ree, is now watching for Varix, but Soda able to pick him up Rome now up 3-1, and with Rome's pick going to Raptors, we could be seeing Raptors pick going to Rome.
You know, at this stage, map pick certainly has value, right? It certainly is something that we like to look into, and I like to dive into the stats. What does a team play on this regularly? How have they done? Do Raptors have a good win history? Does Rome have a good win history? All of that is certainly interesting to look at, but at the end of the day, these are the best of the best. Raptors are certainly playing well here this afternoon, no doubt about it. They are the Challenger Cup contender. They are Season 11 champions, but they worked up through the Challenger Cup to get here for this season, and they are. It is a true battle of both of these squads, and so to my point, the map pick doesn't necessarily mean much at this stage because all of these teams are so good. They do have a powerful understanding of every map, that they all have strats for all of the objectives on all of the maps. There's no unknown. There's no bad map or objective that these teams have. And so what you just are getting is plain and simple a battle of wits between these two teams. And right now, Rome are out ahead, and it's got to be a little bit concerning for Raptors because they did come back on Cargo, but if Rome win this, I feel like Rome have the overall momentum.
Very true, but this situation, this setup reminds me of when Raptors faced Boss Fight last weekend.
Right. Because
they were down 1-3 on Marsoc on this objective, and they capped to bring it even. And I am betting that Raptors will attempt to recreate those conditions again today.
And I would assume that Rome did their homework and watched back that footage on this map.
Just sit back.
So who knows what we get here? You know, is Rome going to be ready for the play from Raptors? Is Raptors going to put off that same play as last time? Or is everybody going to be, again, the mental battles? It's so in-depth, you know, it's even happening before rounds start in terms of doing homework, analyzing your team, knowing what their strategies are, and then trying to counter them. It's why I love watching Onward so much, and why I really do enjoy this game as an esport. It's well, I've explained it enough. As we do get into the first minutes of this round, Raptors not getting too aggressive, playing it pretty cautiously. I did see a drone go up, so I wonder where that's been deployed, as I haven't heard it shot down yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for it now. I know Marksman likes to hide it in different places, sometimes behind the objective, sometimes, you know, kind of flying below the radar, down close to the ground. But thus far, even with eyes in the sky, I haven't been able to identify its location yet.
So that means that Rome certainly won't be able to see it, but it's out there somewhere, monitoring them ominously as they await for Raptors to push in. And again, it is just Raptors gathering information before they advance. They're taking their time. They're checking all of the potential corners and angles, waiting to see if any elbow pops out around a stairwell or anything like that. And we may see our first bit of action here if your body can catch. No, they can't quite see the rotation from Raptors there. It looks like Distorted is going to be able to get past their line.
Marksman, who's covering this mound guy? Is he just out there looking at the lake?
We do see a split push from Raptors here with Marksman and Messino taking the north. Marksman's dropped the drone for now and is moving up closer to Messino's position.
They seem to know where Soda is. I heard Distorted really clarify where Soda was looking. They called them the mound position. And I presume that they know Soda's here, and yeah, they definitely do. The flash is coming up and over, right onto Soda. Right pick doesn't fly the corner, but does deny vision, and it's going to be Distorted. That swings around the edge. The drone identifying an easy pickup for the Raptors. Raptors on the offense. Ree quickly goes down in the
Destroyer,
trade
come
between
back.
them and
Destroyer,
Rypick, but
come back,
Rypick
come
is
back.
down and Resable. So
I'm out,
Distorted
I'm
will
out.
quickly drop back, pick up this res, call out that the trade has come in so that Raptors know the information they need to know and can advance to objective. They may be able to replicate the success they had on boss fight now as they are up 5-3. The trouble is, of course, drawing the defense's attention, opening up that hole through the middle and pushing in for that cap. It is still a task ahead of them, and Rome are still playing this discipline as Chawai gets one over on the lake.
A great pickup to help slow things down here in the north. Meanwhile, the south push is making some pretty good ground here.
Yeah,
Distorted.
Varks all over the place here, looking for the angle, and Rypick actually goes up the side of the hill to catch Varix out. Now Rome have to rotate, and do they get caught in the rotation is the question. Vadi's able to make it over. Rypick fires down on somebody they don't actually see. Right there's the cut. The shots as Chawai gets picked up, and Vadi is alone. Raptors are not letting go of this map. They're into the 1v3. Rypick's literally trying to take the same path that they took last round, and Vadi's here to defend it. The flash comes up and over. Distorted is putting out suppressive fire from a different corner, and ultimately Raptors, with 3 left alive at the end of the round, take their Marsoc W. And like you said, I mean, they didn't get the cap there, Visceral, but that was a strong push onto the objective. They clearly have a good grasp of attacking this objective position.
Absolutely, and I think that at the end there, Vati made the correct play, because knowing how disproportionate the attack versus defensive team being left at that point, you had to know that a cap was being risked. So he went out hunting for the kill, putting himself in the open to die, knowing that they're up by 2, and as long as the cap doesn't come out, they have multiple opportunities to take this map.
It's, well, like we said before, a lot on the line this afternoon. The winner here advancing on to the finals for a chance at that $10,000 in cash and hardware prize pool. The loser of this series down into that 3rd place. Not necessarily out of the prize pool yet, as they will have that opportunity to compete for 3rd place against the loser of our next match, but still not as big of a chunk of the change if you do have that chance to compete for 1st or even 2nd. So there's that element, certainly, but also obviously Rome needing to win this map in order for them to keep pushing this series forward, to take this to a best-of-3 decider. Raptors just need to continue with the comeback train that they have started, as they are now onto the defense. They play a disciplined round here, then we could very well see a 3-3 potential series deciding point for Raptors.
Who was just talking? Was someone just talking already?
I don't know.
Did get a south spawn, but not quick spawn for Rome.
Whoa.
We'll have a little bit of extra ground to cover there.
I mean, the Raptors here are playing an interesting game as they are getting aggressive on defense.
Yeah, they are. Very pushed up in the south. Some shots from Marksman, long
They're
range
south, they're
onto Chihuahua's position.
5 up.
It's going to be some excellent information for Messino and Distorted as kind of the first line of defense in the south.
Yeah, a really big identification there from Marksman all the way down onto the south side. Going to be helpful for the duo here. The drone gets scooped up as it was trying to fly low. I wonder what information that was able to find, but it does go down. And this south side seems to be pretty heavily fortified. Rypick watching over the top of Distorted, and Messino holding a late angle. Is going to be tough for Rome to push in through the south here.
Alright, drone is dead, drone is dead.
Messino about to clash with Verix here as Verix attempts to kind of be their northern push. But Messino drops off. See if he peeks that again, as Verix in a good position to be able to pick that up.
Off behind it.
We have lots of shots coming in.
There it is.
Verix picks Messino. That is going to throw a kink in the works of this southern fortification.
I mean, it really allows the South to push up. Chawai and Ree able to advance here. Of course, they may not be ready for Distorted. Rypick takes some shots over the top, so they know they're there. Ree does check Distorted's angle briefly, but Distorted is staying tucked in just at the right time. And it's standard Onward. They're peeking right as they drop off from their angle. It's exactly what you'd expect. Ree does check back when Distorted is out in the open this time, and down they go. Now roam into the 5v3 on attack on this objective. Raptors with their backs against the wall. They have to start mustering up some kills here. Rypick needs to deny this south push, but they're sort of delaying Rypick. Soda isn't getting, well, as I say that, too aggressive. They do get scooped up. Vadi almost has an angle onto Rypick here, but can't quite get it. Ree's getting flashed out, and Vadi misses their shots.
One's pushed up mid now.
Rypick able to pick out Vadi. Does help slow down this defense. There is still a Resable on the field, with Soda only being downed there in the south. It looks like we are going to see a rotation from Varix to be able to get that revive and bring this back to a 4v3.
Eye on the Y as well. They try and put some pressure onto the other side of the objective. It is the right decision if you do want to try and draw Marksman's attention away. Ree goes up onto the stairs, takes a bit of a risk out in their positioning, and the res comes through as they drop back. Rye able to survive a bit longer and doing really a great job of holding all of these three in the south.
Yeah, he is just not giving up any ground here. He's going to have to be worried about Chawai's position, who just rotated into an excellent pick. And that is going to bring a lot open for Rome here, as Marksman now rotating closer to the objective. Soldier Z, watching for Chawai's position as well, is going to leave a path for the far south. Soldier Z now rotating back to hold the south. Marksman is closer to the objective again. We're now 4-2 with potentially the map point here for Rome.
Absolutely. We are on the track of a map 3, but we'll have to see. Not quite there yet. We've seen some clutches come in already from both of these teams, and the advancement is coming out, so it's going to be a matter of how Rome execute this. Marksman risks calling out information and almost goes down with pre-fire from Chawai. But the information is important to relay to Soldiers as they now take some shots, and Soldiers does get pushed on the other side by Varix. Marksman is holding down 3, and the clock is ticking. 50 seconds left for this Rome team to push up. There's one.
Chawai pushing in heavy on Marks, though, and Marksman goes down, leaving just Soldier Z. Rome picking him up with Varix pushing in the south here. Take map 2 and bring us into a map 3 decider.
It's what you love to see. It's what we are here for this afternoon. It is down to the wire, down to a final map number 3 chosen by Rome. It is down to Subway between these two teams to advance on into tomorrow's finals. What are your thoughts here on this Subway Visceral? Give me the stat breakdown. Dive into the VRML.com/onward webpage where you can find all of the stats about all of your favorite teams across all of the years that they have played. What do we see from these squads here on Subway?
So looking at Subway, this is a very interesting pick from Rome, because looking at the history for the teams alone and the teams together, this is favoring Raptors here. Raptors have played Subway more commonly and done better. 74% win rate for Subway on Raptors side, and the history together, we have seen this exactly one time, and that could explain where Rome is coming from on this pick here, because the only time they played Raptors this season, they did win Subway.
Interesting. Yeah, and again, there's so much to think about, for us at least, to try and dive into the minds of these teams.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correction of myself, the one time they won Subway was actually season 10.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so you have to think about the history and the footage available and the knowledge available to these teams. You know, Rome maybe I think Raptors played this in the round robin, and so maybe they have, some data that they got from watching Raptors play where they thought, oh, there's a weak point here we can exploit on this objective or on this play that they put on offense. There may be some confidence in knowledge there from Rome, not necessarily in the stats, because like I mentioned before, these teams, they ultimately know there's no unknown map. There's no bad map for these squads. The stats certainly will tell you otherwise, but those are purely stats. The knowledge for these teams is they know Subway. Rome has played it plenty of times competitively, and if they haven't, they've certainly managed to scrim on it up until this point, as they have had technically 2 weeks to practice. 2 weeks of unaired practice, off the grid, so to speak, where they could have been also developing strategies for certain maps, So there's so many potential elements to why a team decides what that you really do have to consider here. And, it's what makes it so, again, why it's so exciting. And we are just waiting for these teams to ready up, and we'll dive into Subway. I'm looking at the rosters for both squads, and I'm not seeing any subs come in yet again. Marksman, Masono, Soldiers, Rypic, and Distorted over on Raptors. Soda, Varus, Chawai, Vati, and Ree over on Rome. And it's interesting because I think we're going to see a vastly different picture, vastly different style of play come in from Boss Fight just after this map. And, we'll see a team that does really like to use their whole roster, that does really like to bring in subs for certain maps, and it keeps the team fresh, but it really lets you have a variety of play styles depending on, what the roster looks like on a given day. Maybe they're going to play fast, maybe they're going to play methodical, maybe they're going to go for the aggressive cap or not. It really does vary, and I think it would take a very diligent team to be understanding enough of the Boss Fight roster to know, okay, this player is a master of this map. And I would actually think, what do you think, Vis? But I actually would imagine that Raptors do know that. They do know who Boss Fight likes to put on what maps, because they do play each other a lot outside of the VRML. They play, in comp lobbies, but also in scrims, and so there is just, again, so much knowledge to be processed here by these squads.
Absolutely. And with the stats saying what they say, you've got to remember that because they've lost against the best of the best doesn't mean that they're at it. A loss against Boss Fight isn't necessarily going to be the same thing as a loss against my own team. It's just two different levels of gameplay. And to your point, we don't know what has been going on off camera. These two teams could have scrimmed together 10 times in the last 2 months and played Subway every time, and they know how this will shake out. So I think we are in for an exciting map 3, map decider play here as we go into round 1, beginning on this center platform objective. One of my favorite objectives on Subway. It is very capable, a very fun objective to attack and defend, tons of routes that you can take. But with those routes, 4 Rome members now headed through the basement. We do hear some call-outs coming out from Rypick as they heard some talk, some feet down in the basement here. Looks like they are leaving Ree to cover the stairs up to the objective, and instead sending the other 3 all the way through the basement to come up the center of the platform.
They're going to have to challenge Marksman. It's uncommon to invest a defender down here. And Marksman is there and waiting. Catches one with a C4 that made me jump, and then almost catches Irvati, but can't quite spray them down. Regardless, they have paused this push underground, and I mean, that is enough. Time is money for the attacking side, and if you can buy that time on defense, you're doing a good job.
That is research paying off right there. Most of the time, as you were saying, we don't even see a defender down here, and not only was Marksman ready, he had C4 placed. An unfortunate down from Raptors does get a team kill. It looks like the C4 went off a little early and didn't catch Ree. Varric's able to pick up Messino, bringing us down to a 4v3. Hawaii and Vati still having a hard time getting through Marksman in the basement.
Echo 3.
It's unfortunate because there's only 2 up here on OBJ. Soldiers and Rypick now for Raptors. Rome really has an opportunity to challenge up top, but Marksman is just deterring the duo. They are not allowing them to get up into the stairs and pop up here with Ree. And so it's really, it's Chawai and Irvati having to get aggressive. They have to use some utility down here to work up, and Marksman does finally drop off of their angle into the stairwell. This allows for the duo to finally push out from their tucked in position, albeit Vati is still back there while playing Overwatch.
Ree is in a great position to be able to push objective, but with Marksman slowing down Irvati and Chwai's position here, he's not going to have a lot of support. Marksman gets the shots off on Chwai, but it doesn't down him and ends up getting killed himself. Chwai needs to syringe himself here to stop the bleeding. But an excellent pickup from Rome to be able to coordinate this offense here. It's exactly what they need to be able to support Reed.
Yeah, now they're really threatening from all angles. They got 2 in the stairs, 1 on the other by objective. It's going to come down to Soldiers and Rypick playing a very good set of bit of defense here and preventing a cap attempt from coming in. Will Rome be able to execute properly on this push as well is the question. That flash does get Rypick. No, I don't think it goes around the corner far enough. Rypick still has vision, and Vati still challenging Rai on this pillar here. They need some support from Chwai, and Chwai gets it. Soldiers finds that kill, and objective is open as there's only 1 to defend it. Ree hasn't pushed onto the objective just yet. Soldiers does have a line onto it, but not a great one. There really is potential for a cap to come through here. Soldiers maybe recognizing this, knows they have to push and challenge objective. That rotation forces them into the open, and Irvati kicks things off for Rome with the final kill on round 1.
Yeah, an excellent defensive plan from Marksman there. Does unfortunately not succeed in stopping that basement push. Just an excellent kind of counter reaction to that from Rome to be able to take him out and kind of flank the defense there. Just well played. The probably most unfortunate thing from Raptors being the C4 mistiming, only catching a teammate, not downing Ree there, really put them on their back foot for that defense.
It is a battle here this afternoon as Rome do not let go of the matchup here against Raptors. A historic one, really, as Raptors are trying to challenge and contend for their title as season 11 champions. And it certainly has been exciting to see them play through and up to this stage. I did note, though, in the pre-show and even now, they never had really, they had very few easy wins all the way through their progress to this semifinals. They have really had to battle, even in that Challenger Cup, for their wins. They went undefeated in the Challenger Cup, but I think we also did have a best of 3 Map 3 decider in the Challenger Cup finals against No Fun Intended. We're here again with Raptors on the back foot again, and we'll have to see if they can put up a Marsoc round now as Rome look to again put up the lead 2-0. It just feels like a well, a bit of a broken record on the scoreline here at least, but still super exciting back and forth. And well, we're into round 2 to see what Raptors will do about losing that Marsoc round.
Okay, I'll go.
Or excuse me, that Volk round.
I watch the push.
You watch push. You watch push.
You see 3 Raptors heading down through the basement. Meanwhile, a position not taken from the other team, from Rome, on offense. Rypick is coming down through the north stairs.
Oh, they also have Chawai in the basement, holding down. So a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but certainly different on both the defense and that offensive push. Varix not necessarily playing. What a strange angle from them. They know the timing, and so they're really playing C4 and waiting for aggression from Marksman to come in here. But it hasn't happened just yet. It won't happen for a little bit, especially considering the push out for Marksman is really the last push you need to make.
Yeah, the C4 being placed right on the stairs is a very common kind of meta position for it, and while that typically means that it's well placed, that can also mean that it is going to be expected. So it'll be interesting to see if Marksman is able to pick that off without very expensive. In the meantime, it looks like he might actually choose not to go that way. Lots of action down in Chawai, going down to Distorted after taking out Soldier Z.
One south stairs.
You can hear Soda calling out now, Distorted in Marksman's location, giving away their position up above, but still identifying the enemy, as that is a more important element, because now Vadi knows that there's 1 or 2 down here in the south, and they can potentially check it. Of course, Vadi has their hands full, as they have to watch Rypick, who's pushed in from the north side. They are looking for that angle, and so is Rypick onto ear Vadi. It's, well, they have 2 spots to be checking here, as they also go back to the south. Can't find Distorted.
They're coming from basement.
Staying busy here for Vadi, trying to identify these different locations. Soda does fly down the south stairs and actually gets aggressive on the tight corner to catch one.
Was taking shots on basement stairs from north side.
One down overpass.
Bree able to pick up Messino in Horseshoe as well. Does really put Rome in a great position here, up 4-2, with Soda being aware of Marksman's position. It looks like we do see Rypick rotating off of north stairs, going to attempt to attack this from a different angle.
Marksman trying to flash Soda here. I think that one got him. Marksman now can take control of the angle and wait for Soda to try and peek it, as Vadi also hunts the deep angle. Marksman does spot a little bit of movement there and tucks themselves back in off of that exposed lane. They may also be in for a bit of a rotation, depending on what the timing looks like here. Either that or they're just going to play it patiently. Rypick and Ree trade up top, and so it does come down to Marksman all alone in the basement.
And Ree is resable. Given that they have a good kill count, I am expecting them to... Yep, Varix heading up toward the res now. This is going to mean that we are at a 1v4. Not looking good for Marksman here.
Well, we've seen it before. 1v4 clutches can certainly happen even in the most intense pressure-filled scenarios. And we've also seen Raptors do well battling back from a deficit. And so even if they do lose here, it's not something that they haven't been experiencing all series. Either way, Marksman doesn't want to let go of this one. Vadi flies the corner to doesn't catch Marksman on that pre-fire, and Marksman can't quite catch Vadi in time. Really takes a quick trigger finger to catch those peaks, but either way, Marksman is suppressed here for now. I wonder if the rest of Rome is going to start to pinch onto Marksman's position. Maybe Varix in through the basement. But at this stage, Viz, it's just such a risk, isn't it, to get that kind of aggressive?
Yeah, less than a minute and a half on the clock. The Rome defenders here just need to be patient. They need to hold the line because Marksman is going to have to make the play. Looks like he's rotating back towards the OBJ stairs that is likely to be heard by Varix. And is he going to expect the C4 here? He is. He sees it. Does take the C4 out. Varix recognizes the C4 is down. Now they're aware once again of where his position is.
Yep. Ooh. Oh. Marksman almost had Varix's head there as Varix was going to radio in information. Varix goes back to the gun, finds the kill. Rome are up 2-0 on Subway on their map pick. And again, doesn't this feel familiar, Viz? Again, Raptors are down 2-0 for the third map in a row.
Yeah, what a, I don't know, coincidence, deja vu, whatever. All three maps now have started the same way, but they have ended far closer. Yeah. And so I'm expecting to see some rounds go into the Raptors' hands here as we move to a new objective down here in the South Crossroads.
Yeah, it is. Now, the question is, do we see the 4-2 Rome or the 2-5 Rome? That's the question. Do we see the 5-2 Raptors who can manage to come back, or do we see the Raptors that stays in there but ultimately can't surmount the deficit that they do find themselves in? Those are the questions that we get presented with here. And wow, I mean, I think I wonder what the general consensus is from the overall community on who they think was going to win this map. Maybe we can go back into the pre-show and see what the consensus was from the community. But still, I wonder who the folks that are watching think was going to win this, still is potentially going to win this before they hopped into this series. Because I would imagine it was mostly Raptors. You know, if you look at the team history, Rome have not been here at this stage before, and Raptors, obviously with that experience, it plays a lot into how good you can play under pressure. If you know and can expect that you're going to feel a certain way going into a very competitive game, you can prepare for that accordingly. And it really is, I guess, if anything, impressive that Rome are doing so well when the pressure is on at this moment, and they're able to battle back against our Season 11 champions.
Yeah, to see the Season 11 champions end up having to go through the Challenger Cup, battle their way here, end up as second seed in the battle today, the away team. It just goes to show how well Rome has been playing this season.
Yeah, they are deserving of their, oh gosh, what rank are they worldwide? I don't know. You'll have to dig that up, but they're deserving of their rank in that top 7 for sure. It is no easy task to be up in the top 7 during the regular season. It really takes the best of the best to be able to do it, and I think you're seeing really what separates some of these teams, even from the squads that competed in the top 7 and didn't make it. Just very competitive comms, I think is the best way to say it, which really leads to good information and the option to play aggressively and a bit off meta. If you really have good communication between your team, you can play with a bit of a different level of confidence and understanding, and that can throw off your opponent. And so I just feel like we're seeing it from both sides, truly just very intense and active comms that are leading into a great back and forth that we're seeing here this afternoon in what is now our longest break. I'm imagining that a timeout has been called. We'll have to do some research here. If I did get a DM, yes, indeed.
Yep.
There was a timeout called. 10-minute timeouts. We are almost at the end of it, though, and so interestingly enough, we've just been buying time here, Viz, talking about what has been a great series so far, and we are almost at the end of this timeout to get us back into the action. So again, we appreciate everybody that has been hanging out with us and listening to us jabber on about what has been good quality VRML action. And a shout out to everybody that is on all of the channels, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Horizon Venues. We do really appreciate your support. And if you don't know what Venues is, you can download it for free on your Quest or Quest 2. Check it out right now. I would highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite ways to watch these games in VR. I just don't get to do it often because I'm casting them. So again, I do though recommend checking it out. And yeah, a thank you to everybody that does tune in and enjoy the action. You may have noticed while we have some downtime, in announcements across all of our leagues, the VRML has started their own Patreon. That Patreon just launched, well, off of that announcement. And so far, we're seeing some great support come in from a few folks in the community. We have not had the chance to put their names in the credits yet. We'll hopefully have that in for finals. But regardless, if you do want to check out the Patreon, I would highly recommend it. We have several different tiers available. The first tier giving you access to exclusive Patreon content that is to come, where we will have videos. One idea I've had is me reviewing gameplay footage from a VRML match and drawing over it and talking about the plays. That kind of content may very well be exclusive to Patreon in the near future. We don't have any content there yet, but that is the plan, and we hope to expand upon that content offering. In addition, if you then go for the silver tier, you get yourself names on the credits during after the end of live streams and YouTube videos. The gold tier, it gets you access to front-of-the-line questioning, priority questioning during our VRML sit reps, where the mods answer the community questions. And then our diamond tier that offers no additional awards other than the VRML's gratitude for your support. We really do appreciate anybody that does support the Patreon across any of those tiers. And yeah, thank you so much for checking that out and becoming a Patreon if you do. If not, we still do appreciate you stopping by and enjoying the action here this afternoon. Maybe you can hit that follow button, as we will be live tomorrow, and obviously when Season 13 begins. Back into the action we go, though, Viz, for round number 3. Timeout is up. Rome is on the quick spawn, and we have a death within the first 30 seconds.
The revive does come out from the trade there, leaving us with a 5-2. Rome looking to get the cap likely here and just end the series. But being up 2-0, they can afford a little bit of risk here in attempting that.
No, it must have just been a C4.
Yeah, it is,
boom, boom.
Like you said, a bit of a risk to be going boom, for boom. The cap, especially on this objective. It's pretty hard to get up past that fence and be able to punch in the code underneath the nose of this defense. But we'll have to see if they can chip away at a couple of key defensive positions and distract accordingly. It seems like they are just kind of going for that frontal assault aggressive play. Messino is tucked in here. Soda and Chwai have taken control of the C4 alley. As we see another C4 detonated there from Raptors that catches no one. Marksman tries the exact same play that we saw in the highlight reel in the pre-show. That doesn't work. And on the other side, Ree catches Distorted. So Raptors getting picked apart here on their defensive round. Another kill coming in from Ree. Rypick tries the refrag, can't connect. Masonno able to get at least one as Rome now down to 4, but the smokes are thick, and it's hard for Messino to see through them. Soda puts rounds towards Messino, still no effect. Vadi, meanwhile, pushing towards objective. Rypick, the only one that can defend it. If Ree is able to find this kill, it's huge. And I think Hawaii is actually just drawing Messino's attention. I think they are intentionally avoiding that kill and going for the pick. It is a very interesting assault that hasn't fully been realized yet, as Rypick is still trying to check this lane, and Vadi is still danger close to objective.
They can pick Rypick here, then Vadi has a clear line to the objective, being just a few feet away from being in cap range.
A big pickup for Messino. That's going to allow them to redirect attention here when things go wrong, if they go wrong for Rypick. Either way, Rome are now down to 2. As Messino, I think, got both over on that corner. The smoke here denying Soda the option to catch Rypick on these big peaks. And Rypick is going to get across, get a new gun, and the smoke displays. They go right into your bodies, aggressive forward angle. Now Messino has to crash back. They go down in a trade. Rome position themselves a round away from moving on to the finals for their first time in the VRML.
What a play there from Rome. Almost being able to pull off the cap there, but Raptors were ready for it and they were able to prevent it. But now they have their work cut out for them here, being down 0-3 for the first time today.
Yeah, we've seen comebacks from Raptors. It was a talking point of this team in the pre-show. They do not let go easily. We've seen them come back against Rome already, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility at all. But they are certainly being challenged here. And Raptors, like you said, have a tough road ahead of them. In particular, now getting a Marsoc W on an objective that I feel is pretty tough. Actually, I've seen Marsoc wins come in often enough via kills, but very rarely capped. So maybe Raptors can get a point on the board here. That's got to be their goal. I don't envision necessarily that they're going to go for the cap attempt here on this objective. I imagine they're going to try and overwhelm and kill the defending team for that 1 point on the board. The trouble is that we have some crazy objectives still left. We have North Stairs, we have Center Market, we have even the basement, which has been pretty volatile as of late, and so there is no real safety wherever we go after this. And I guess that's kind of Subway in a nutshell, right? All the objectives are kind of crazy.
Absolutely, and it's why it's one of my favorite maps to cast. There's just always some unique angle someone's taking, some interesting pushes and plays and caps. Just always exciting here on Subway.
Ooh, we may see aggression in the south. Raptors get a different spawn than Rome. It means they're down here in the basement, and it's what Vadi is going to be looking for. They're going to pop out here and see if they spot anybody rotating. And they don't initially, and so they then drop back to cover up towards this objective space. In the meantime, while this has happened, Ree has advanced super far forward and is actually... we saw this position in the round robin.
Yeah, Vadi just being a little bit too slow to catch Distorted rotating into south to come up spiral stairs. And yeah, Ree's position is very off meta. Going to be dangerous for Messino and Rypick coming up here, both because they'll have an excellent line of sight onto Ree, but more dangerous for them because they won't be expecting this. Their primary attention is going to be to the left as they come up here towards the objective. And so with this push coming in here, Ree is getting flanked by marksman Soldier, Rypick, and Messino. Ooh, Twai does pick up Distorted's attempt to come up spiral stairs there, meaning this market push is going to be ever more important. Ree picks up Soldier Z, but gets refragged by marksman, likely saving Rypick and Messino here, who are just about to come up from Horseshoe.
You heard the call out there that they killed Ree. They know these players without name tags. All they see is a body and a uniform, but they know play styles, they know mannerisms, they know the height of some of these players, and they can recognize them just based off of the way they play. It's really goes to show you how much knowledge these teams have. But either way, it's an advantage for Rome. They now have 4v3 on their round that they need to win to lock in their chance for that first and second battle in the finals, that best of 5 that they want to advance onto. If they can lock it in here, are going up against Error 404, the winner of Error 404 in boss fight. And gosh, I mean, you got to consider the pressure for Rome. You know, they are so close to advancing. The pressure for Raptors, they are so close to elimination. Well, being bumped down into that third place round. There is a lot on the line here, and they're being very methodical now as Rypick scans the entirety of this alleyway to find a C4 tucked in up on that roof, or on the side of the wall there.
Yeah, a very well hidden and good spot. And by that I mean like a good spotting from Rypick to be able to see that C4. Definitely going to help on this push here.
I mean, I could barely even find it. You know, it's right on that dark patch of the brick. It's really a nice placement from the Rome defense. But, yeah, they are in a holding pattern here as they drop back and, I believe, discuss strategy out of earshot of the defending team.
Yeah, it is important to remember in Onward, the comms are global. Anything you say can be heard by the enemy team.
The best. Your side's the best bet. I'm watching for flank.
Here, Rypick and Marksman trying to hash out what their approach is going to look like. And again, dropping back in order to do all these comms.
Sure.
Flash gets traded to Rypick. And an interesting memorization of the code. And gosh, wouldn't that be a play? Hawaii is so far off OBJ that if they're able to get control of the alley, if they're able to dismount Soda from their defense position, take out Vadi and Vargs and do it quick, maybe a cap could come through.
It would be just what they need to kind of put their name on the board. Would be to bring this up to a 2-3. And in the end, they can't afford to make any mistakes at this point. No. This could be Rome moving on right here.
It's such a risk to go for that cap, to not have a gun in hand and a tablet instead, and I'll have to see what the play is. Marksman throws the flash to clear out the alley. Another one that doesn't quite get the corner, but does hit Soda. And as a minute is left on the clock, how many bullets does Rome have? Because they could just start to shoot like they are there onto these corners. And, well, Raptors would have to push into that fire. Time now down to a minute.
And Vadi throwing those shots around that corner, calling out to his team just to make them waste time. Just cutting down the time. Now that we're down to a minute left, he's calling out, just make them.
A big play, a big aggressive rotation from Soda catches Marksman out. Massino is down and alone in a 1v4. Can they clutch it is the big question in everyone's mind right now. Is Rome going to advance to the finals? Irvadi can't find the shots. There it is.
Kiss me. No.
Just like that, Rome is heading to our finals match next week. Sorry, tomorrow. Tomorrow. You don't have to wait long at all for that battle. That is tomorrow.
Wow. A great battle from Rome, a great contention from Raptors. Our Season 11 champions will not be contending for their title this season. Rome instead will have a chance at it, as will the winner of our next game, Error 404 in Boss Fight. That is expected in roughly 5 to 10 minutes from now, so do keep your eyes on the stream. Don't go anywhere. But again, a big shout out to Rome. They again are advancing into tomorrow's matchup. The bronze match starts at 9:30 with the pre-show, 10 a.m. match start, and then the finals after our third place deciding series. And so even tomorrow, we'll see Raptors again going up against the loser of our next match. And so if you are a Raptors fan, I still would encourage you to stop by and cheer them on for that third place battle. And either way, what a fantastic series to tune into, whether you're a Rome or Raptors fan. This was just good quality, high-tier Onward. And again, we can expect more in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. We will be back with series number 2, Error 404 versus Boss Fight, the NA versus EU battle, coming at you in just a few moments.
Yes.
Easy going right there. One more to go. Welcome back, everybody. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster, the Sky Joker. We are here for Boss Fight versus Error 404. Our analyst on the desk, Jamie, will be joining us between rounds and right now. I want to get your thoughts, Jamie, on this matchup because you're our resident EU expert. And we didn't get to hear your thoughts in the pre-show. It's Boss Fight, the EU squad versus Error 404, an NA powerhouse. What can we expect here?
This is going to be a tough game, I guess, for probably both sides, you know.
Yeah.
Boss Fight, having only really played EU teams, we haven't had the Button Cup this year, so it's going to be a tough one. They've probably not even really seen much of Error 404 either, so those different kind of play styles definitely going to come out, but they've been here so many times,
Right.
I've probably lost count now, so they're definitely going to be a lot calmer, a lot cooler, and a little bit more composed, I guess, than probably what we're going to see from Error 404. But you never know.
Now, am I right in that is it Error 404's first time in the semifinals as well? Because it was Rome's, and they'll be moving on into the finals. Sky, Jamie, do you know, is it Error 404's first time here in the semifinals today?
I want to say it is, really. I mean, they were made in season 11, weren't they? So,
right.
Yeah, I don't think they made it past the Challenger Cup last season. I could be wrong about that, but I think they went out at that stage.
I think you're right in that. And so, you know, we're kind of getting a very interesting perspective here of, you know, new teams against, I wouldn't even say old guard, because Raptors were new in season 10, but season 11 champions. We're seeing these new teams versus these experienced squads, and it's still just great Onward. Great back and forth. If anything, it's an indicator to people that are maybe tuning in and don't play Onward or have been hesitant to get into the competitive scene to join now. You know, there are so many new teams that are going to be recruiting in this off season coming up and leading up into season 13. You're really going to be having a great opportunity to be able to get in and get involved into the game. Get in with a new team that's going to be training and practicing together and scrimming. And so I guess just an observation from my side is that we do have another experienced versus veteran matchup here this afternoon with Boss Fight and Error 404. And you know, how much does that experience matter in a moment like this? Sky, I'm kind of curious in your opinion, because this is still a standard best of 3 that we would see in a normal game.
Yes, 100%. And of course, experience comes into play. When you've been here so many times, like Boss Fight has over and over, they've been in these situations, they played God knows how many league matches over and over, and
right.
High stakes, high reward. You know, they know what the mindset is. They know how to play. They know how to be in this mindset and compete at this level.
Right.
Error 404 coming in, being here for the first time. They're not slouches. They're not a team to sleep on. They know what they're doing. But without that experience of being here on stage, ready to duke it out for this grand prize, we might see some flusters.
It's a big question mark this afternoon, and for those that are tuning in just now, you are catching the back half of semifinals this afternoon. Rome have just defeated Raptors to advance into the finals, which is tomorrow. That means Raptors will have to battle it out for third place for the first matchup of tomorrow. Here we have Boss Fight and Error 404, and the general system of how this series will go is that we have each team with a ban. The ban coming in from Boss Fight is Suburbia, and the ban coming in from Error 404 is Snow Peak. And then the home team, who is Boss Fight, because they are positioned higher in the overall ladder. I believe that's how it's done. They are going to be advancing in. They'll be the home team, so they get to pick their first map and the third map. So map pick here for map 1 is going to be Bazaar. And Jamie, I'm curious on your perspective here. What do you think of these bans coming in from these teams? We talk about bans of strength and weakness. What does that mean, and have these teams picked into that?
Well, they've definitely done their research, I want to say, based on the picks, and taking out those kind of maps early on. It makes it tougher going into the next kind of map picks, and I guess it's tough, really. I mean, that's part of the battle itself, isn't it? Really. Right. Psyching out your opponent and taking away the home field advantage, or just anything that they're kind of comfortable with. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what we do see for the kind of third map, and at what point they're going into that.
Yeah, Sky, what do you think? What are the stats showing here on these bans?
It's very strange, in my opinion, these bans, especially the first map pick coming in. Boss Fight bringing this to Bazaar, having what I could tell lower stats than Arrow 404 on this map. So interesting that they would choose to duke it out here.
Well, we've talked about how stats may not mean everything when it comes into the postseason. It all comes down to the strats that these teams have honed in and how they execute on them. How practiced are they? How prepared are these squads? Are they ready and able to push through the pressure of competing for a $10,000 in cash and hardware prize pool? We'll have to see as we dive in to round number 1 here. Shots already ringing out on the defensive side from Error 404. Boss Fight have taken up a pretty quick offensive setup with Scooby-Doo already in the midfield and Radarhead already in control of Coyote 2 Story. They have a lot of options up to them. This could be a Boss Fight quick play. They could be executing a push around the 4-minute mark here.
Yeah, I suspect this is one of those 2-stage or 2-level stage ups. Their whole goal here was to get to center and make sure Arrow 404 has no option but to stay in that little box in the northeast. And Boss Fight's goal here is, again, to ensure nobody goes outside that box, and if they try, maybe they can grab some early picks.
That's what Scooby's looking for as they wait to see if Badger's going to pop out of that blue room. Doesn't seem to be the case. Cobra's tucked in on objective, defending that. And an interesting setup here in the north where they're prioritizing defense in this alley with Cobra and then John tucked in and waiting for anyone to advance out across this north wall. Not often do you see someone actively defending in this alleyway.
Not too often, especially with being tucked in like that. It's going to be a very off-meta position because you see Radarhead looking towards the corner and towards the red truck, the more common positions to hold this area. So that might throw them off just slightly.
We'll have to see again what the execution phase looks like from Boss Fight, because I agree it's a 2-stage setup. And they seem to be playing on to their standard pace of actually pushing in at 2 minutes. The second phase of advancement is now coming in. As you can see, Sayonara and Scooby starting to work their way forward. Radarhead is still holding out that north side, but they're taking more control of Coyote as Woods sifts through. Little Sayonara maybe pushing onto this blue corner shortly. They have the support of Icy Woods over the top deep in that southeast. The Boss Fight push is going to be executed on, and again, at probably 2 minutes left on that clock. It'll give them enough time to advance and fight, and then enough time to potentially recalibrate if they don't have a good initial entryway into this objective courtyard space. So it's all, again, a matter of timing and execution. We'll have to see how Error 404 defend. Icy kicks things off with a kill onto Icy Woods. The dominant Icy coming out on top here.
Unfortunately, Lil Cyanor being on the other side of the wall couldn't quite get any refrag, but that does tell him exactly where Icy is, so he could work off that information. A grenade comes out just a little too far.
Badger can hear that rotation, so if they hear Cyanora pushing, they can call out to Icy, hey, check this top corner, and Icy does check that top corner at the perfect time. Cyanora goes down, is resable. We'll have to see if Icy pops out here to get the confirm, and they will. Icy now with the full kill on to Cyanora. It leaves boss fight with only 3 as the East gets shut down. Whether that's because it wasn't synced up with a push through the middle or they just weren't able to get into position, that's to be questioned still, but either way, the trio of boss fight here through the center is still available and ready to push as they start to toss utility out towards objective. A lot of smoke, Sky.
Plenty of utility coming out, gonna set up for their final approach here on the 90-second mark. John CZ giving away his position. Woods pre-firing where John CZ was moments ago, just a little too late. Oh, another smoke. Flashbang coming out. Shouldn't have found Woods. But Icy with a great rotation. Gonna find Woods on the side. Radar head coming in, finding it on CZ. Might find Cobra. No, Cobra comes out on top. Peeks around the corner. Scooby is on objective as he snuck in with the... Oh, but the smoke goes away! Oh, wow. He was right in the middle of all 4 of them, and the smoke dissipates just in time for Air 404 to turn on him. Wow.
Well, I was screaming there when you guys were talking about the north that Scooby's sitting there. Yeah, that was a brilliant play from kind of boss fight, you know, and it's one to be expected. They wait till the last minute or two, they throw in the utility and they try and get a player in there for the cap whilst everyone else is creating that distraction. Icy clearly, you know, the player of that round for Aero 404 really shut down that eastern approach, which I think would have, if he hadn't been able to do that, would have easily caused the Aero 404 so many more complications in that final minute or two. But well played to them really in being able to just secure the objective on what is really probably a Marsok kind of favoured objective. You know, both have to stay tight and they easily can get surrounded. So yeah, Icy clearly, you know, saved the day really there, and unfortunate for Scooby on that smoke.
Movement, I think they got the southwest.
That can't be right, Nightfire. No way we're only on round number 2. My heart, I don't know if it can make it. Not after that. Yeah, Arrow 404 doing a similarly timed approach, but very different direction. Wondering how this is going to play out in comparison.
Andrew, you want to try and bait them again? I promise I'll hit my shots.
Footsteps at scaffold.
Yeah, Bazaar is one of those maps where you can't just leave a building unchecked behind you. Unless you've confidently boxed the defense into a very specific area, you have to make sure you're checking these positions, especially Blue Room. And Scooby's hearing all of this. No, with the prone, unless there's any sort of mic noises, he's not going to hear anything from the character. Icy does have to be careful coming in through this little crack, though, as the trade comes out over in the east.
My guy was on the... Echo 3.
Beta 5.
Icy is just millimeters away from catching radar. It just can't quite clear the threshold of the door to see radar. Oh, risky peek for radar. Gets tagged, not down though. Icy gonna push back real quick. Scooby comes out for the kill, but John is there to back up Icy. Now into a 4v3 as Arrow 404 make their rotations out in the last 30 seconds of the round. They're going to have to make the push. Fighting on both sides. Icy takes down Radar Head, secures Blue Room. John CZ secures the objective room, and Lil Thionora going down as the trio surrounds. And Arrow 404 with the aggressive attack there at the end. Going to secure their second point.
Well, you know, that was impressive play from Error 404. Like I said in that last round, this objective is commonly a Mossok kind of favored one, and I think they were able to just do what Boss Fight couldn't quite do in the last round and take control of that east with their kind of different approach, being a bit more focused on the east and the southeast kind of approach there. And I think that's kind of what took it in that final aggressive play, whilst Boss Fight are trying to get into their defensive positions as they're getting picked off. Really worked well in their favor.
Yeah, apologies for the mic there. I guess just putting on display the tap to functionality of the HyperX mic. When you don't see the color, you don't hear my voice. That's the beauty of the HyperX Quadcast S. Either way, we're back here, and I mean, Sky, that was, I don't know, it seemed like Boss Fight had control. A 5-3 advantage with only a minute left, but then Scooby getting aggressive kind of sets things off for the Error 404 offense there, and they somehow managed to pick apart Boss Fight trying to rotate and defend when they didn't need to. We now change objectives, and we get to see what
just like we rehearsed it.
Boss Fight do on attack and Error 404 do on defend. You could hear there at the start from Scooby, just like we rehearsed it. We'll see if Boss Fight can execute on this play here. We get set up for round number 3. Already shots coming in from Little Sayonara over the top onto Nolu.
Try go.
Lots of pre-fire coming out from Boss Fight. They definitely had some pre-planned attack angles that they needed to get to very quickly to try and take down any Arrow 4 members trying to counter those pre-fire lines. Interesting setup from Badger and Icy, the duo next to the objective building. I've not seen those two positions taken. Of course, Icy's going to rotate now. I think that was just an early position to grab, check for any push-outs, and then rotate.
Oh, he's rotating all over the place here, really.
One's in the kill room area.
Trying to discuss and talk about strategy with Badger and defend from this window. Badger's actually going to find Radar.
Got one.
As they both kind of teamwork down their first kill here on defense.
Good shit, Icy. You pushed them out.
Echo 4, 1 down, 2-story. The guy looking through the window.
Nice
There's
little refract from Icy to take him down. The duo shut down to a solo now.
You could actually even hear Badger saying, good job, Icy, you pushed them out for that kill. Ooh, and there's another kill coming in from Cobra, who has extended out deep into this corner. Very vulnerable to nades and utility, and Sayonara puts out a great one. Right over the top, a pretty good good range on that toss, all the way across the street. And Cobra will just be able to radio in what they see here, which is certainly valuable, as they won't be able to confirm Cobra behind the wall. And so Cobra can essentially stand there and communicate anytime they see a cross coming in. Anytime they see Sayonara or Woods even move for that cross. For the next 2 minutes, they'll be able to down and radio in that information. So Badger is dialed in here and waiting.
Going to crossing.
Little Sayonara calling out that he's getting ready to cross right into where Badger's going to be watching.
Grab some off their board if you can.
Going to be dangerous.
Let's go back the other way. Okay.
Oh,
I don't want
they're
this
going
guy
to
to
opt
get
to
I'm going to hold
rotate.
you for a bit. We've got time. If you don't. There's... Let's see, hold on, I'm going to hit you.
Little Sayonara definitely been making a name for himself with his grenades.
No kidding.
Had a lot of good ones. Woods going for resources, scavenging his fellow soldier on the ground there. As we go into a 3v3.5, 3 minutes on the clock, Boss Fight. Gonna have to push this street.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do it down 1, or down 2, excuse me. Error 404. Down into that 3v3 with a little bit of a radio beacon in the south. And yeah, that time is ticking down. The utility comes out onto Badger's position, but I don't know that it's exactly placed where it needs to be to really allow a cross. And even if it is, like I said, that call out can come in from Cobra that someone is crossing the street. So it's not exactly a safe rotation.
think the wild card here is going to be Scooby, who's been in the center here waiting for Badger to cross out into a line. If he pushes Blue Room and takes out Nolu, as Lil Cyanora takes down Badger, rotating for that revive, he's been sitting there just waiting for somebody to go for it. And that will tell Cyanora that Cobra is probably alive, because there's no other reason for Badger to have been out there.
They have managed.
They have a good kill count
to get a nice advantage here. Smokes are out on objective. Nolu has to crash back and cover the OBJ. They have one watching the street still on catwalk, but if they manage to get past them, it's bad news. Scooby is already doing just that. John doesn't see Scooby at the ice cream truck, and Scooby's trying to push in. What a huge denial from Nolu through the smokes. John CZ over the top, shuts down Woods. I meant to say John up on that catwalk, as they do find a key kill there, ultimately shutting down an advancement and leaving it all up to little Cyanora into a 1v2. Nolu doesn't spot them on this rotation, and the clock is ticking. This is why they push at 2 minutes, though, Sky, so that there's at least enough time, if that push fails, to readjust and reevaluate, and that's what Cyanora is trying to do here.
Yeah, John CZ making it to scaffolding was absolutely key, but Cyanora should be aware of that potential threat, hearing the shots out there, but he's going to make a cross. John CZ should have the call out, but he's going to fake him and go back the other way, hoping John will rotate. Ooh. Now Nolu going to find little Cyanora. Doesn't quite make the shots either. Back and forth, 30 seconds coming right up.
Has to commit to the push. The defense knows this. They have to simply wait for this push to come through, and that's what Nolu's doing. That flash connects potentially with Cyanora, and if it didn't, Nolu finds the shots. Cyanora goes down. Error 404 are up 3-0 right now.
Wow.
Looking at a potential map 1W. Jamie, boss fight on the back foot here.
Yeah, right, you all there. And I was just, I was watching that play-by-play, and boss fight kind of started out pretty strong there. I thought they were, making some good movements. They took out Badger, when he made that attempt for the revive, and at that point, they were about 3-4 players up versus their 2. But just some excellent movement, I guess, from John CZ to assess the situation and take that scaffolding to take Woods 43 out as he's approaching across the street, and then Scooby getting taken out whilst he tries to do a similar approach as he did in the last one, and then that just leaves little Cyanora. It was unfortunate, really, but they opted not to take the east from boss fight, and they got punished for it.
Indeed they did, and they are now looking at a potential map 1 loss if they cannot bounce back here. As we get back into the action for round number 4, we'll have to see if boss fight can put up a solid defensive hold here, especially when they're, well, it really matters a lot, because we did then go into Error 404's map pick, and, well, I guess, does that matter a lot? I don't know. We've seen map picks get lost more often than one so far today, so either way, boss fight just have to defend, and Error 404 have to start putting coal in the comeback train to get this thing rolling.
But one is behind the 2-story next to OBJ.
I mentioned how interesting that duo was last round, how I'd never seen it, but you see the Woods brothers taking up the same position. Clearly, I am behind on my strats.
A new and improved way to double stack and defend a very important angle. Scooby. Oh, what a nice little spot. Able to stay
I'm not sure if I got a guy. There was a guy
covered from John and find the pick, and it was just a second before that smoke came in and denied the angle. John nearly goes down from Scooby. Badger's making the cross under this smoke coverage, as does Nolu on the backside. They'll be finding themselves a battle soon enough. Scooby catches another up through the middle. Cyanora goes down. Error 404 chipping away at boss fight, as they are now down 3v4. They've lost their center push with all those smoke coverage. It just got completely shut down. Scooby doing a great job from that window.
Arrow 404 kind of changing the pace a little bit as their initial push doesn't go the way they wanted. But Nolu making his breach into the west side. Scooby gonna have to defend this.
Everyone staying locked in. You're not seeing any rotations. What you're seeing is dialed in lasers onto their angles. They are holding designated lines,
Right
trusting in their teammate.
Yeah, there's one on the objective.
To hold properly, and now rotations start coming through. 3:40 on the clock. Badger getting close, and Nolu rotating around. Scooby has to stay tight to this wall, or Nolu's going to have Scooby.
The guy in
back.
front of me is at the bin, right in front of me. The dumpster, like.
Cobra finds radar head. That's going to weaken the on-objective defense. Now they don't have eyes down the center.
They do have Icy Woods over the top. Oh no, and Cobra catches another. Woods 43 goes down on objective. 2 huge picks from Cobra. Scooby down to Nolu. And the catch on the back. Error 404. Pick apart the defense one at a time and take map number 1 4-0, Sky.
Wow.
Jamie, this is a powerful start for this Error 404 team. Where does Boss Fight go from here? What can they do to bounce back? Because they're going into the map pick of Error 404 now.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm shocked. Not even a single point on the board there for Boss Fight, and Error 404 now must be feeling good, you know. the emotions there, they've just taken the number 1 on a map, their choice, you know. That play there was just fantastic, really.
Yeah.
Error 404 able to just surround the Boss Fight's defense and just get into positions to take them out as they try and rotate. I think Boss Fight really need to sit down and realize that, you know, Error 404 are playing at the same standard as they are. And I think at the moment they've maybe been a little bit too confident in the looks of their defense and their attacks, you know. I'm not hearing the communication from them that I would otherwise expect. So they really need to get their heads in the game and realize what level they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, for a second I thought we were headed to Tanker, but I forgot that that's the subway sound. So subway is where we will go for our second map of the afternoon. This is, again, picked by Error 404. As they are the away team, they get that second map choice. And so, I mean, the close quarters mentality here, kind of staying true to what we saw with Bazaar. I imagine we'll see sort of a similar style of play from both teams here this afternoon. Boss Fight going to be playing things methodically. They're going to be going with their setup, their timing. Error 404 seemingly playing pretty aggressive on their offensive play. I think that's going to be the risk for Boss Fight here on Subway. I mean, Sky, I'm curious on your thoughts. Is the aggression going to be enough for Error 404 to sort of overwhelm an EU team that can play against aggression?
I think we're going to see a lot of interesting either ambushes or even full-on flanks from Arrow 404. We've seen Badger historically go on some of those long rotations on defense to try and get behind the offense, and then we saw John CZ do it just now and get really not lucky, but definitely threw off the offense and managed to score himself a couple kills off of the scaffolding. So I suspect we're going to see quite a bit of that on Subway here as well.
Yeah.
Will Boss Fight be able to counter it? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to tune into this afternoon. And again, I wonder what the community consensus was here on who they thought was going to be the winner, whether it was going to be Boss Fight or Error 404. I imagine it would be pretty split, truly, because I really have a tough time deciding here who is going to come out on top. Even after seeing a 4-0, Boss Fight were in that. They were fighting for most of those rounds. They had, if anything, leads going into the final moments of those rounds. And so there is still this energy that they have to hold on to. in my opinion, in order to kind of keep pushing forward here and playing well on this next map. I thought for a second we were going to see a sub, but I think for now we are waiting on a bit of a reset going on here from Scooby on their side. A sub would certainly be something I would almost expect from Boss Fight at this point, Jamie. They certainly do dip into their roster throughout the course of a round in a series.
Yeah, historically, you know, we've made jokes about it before, and their extensive list of players, really, who they do bring in for matches. But I think this is a different boss fight this season. You know, they've actually played a pretty consistent and solid team for a lot of maps and a lot of rounds, maybe with the odd variation. But they are at the moment they're sticking strong with the Woods brothers, and they're two, you know, ex-beginners, players, winners of countless championships. So they've definitely got a lot from that. And boss fight aren't strangers to this map. I've played them many times, and on sides that I've thought, you know, probably will take this, and they've managed to just destroy. So, but they are missing some of those players from back then, and it may hinder them for this.
We will have to see what we get here in this action, but while we do have a brief moment in time waiting for the start of our next map, I do want to shout out some of our sponsors. You've seen it here in the banner. The HyperX loot drop is live right now. You can get up to 50% off on select HyperX products. If you go down into the info section on the Twitch page, you can click on that HyperX banner. There may also be a link in the chat where you can then get directed to that loot drop page and start picking up some of the HyperX products that are on sale now. I can't recommend them enough. They are fantastic quality. Obviously, you've been hearing my voice come in on the HyperX Quadcast S. I've been utilizing their mechanical keyboard throughout the course of the afternoon, and again, they just put out some great quality products. So shout out to HyperX for sponsoring us and supporting us. And again, do check that out. We do have gameplay to cut into, though. We'll get to more of our sponsors after this round, as we see a C4 dished out from Sayonara. And Icy looking like they're going to want to push down this stairwell into the C4.
Oh, unfortunate that it came too early. Sayonara too quick on that trigger. Gonna pop a flashbang. Might have caught him around that corner, but he doesn't over-aggress just in case.
I don't think Sayonara knows Icy's behind the trash can. Icy pops up to find that kill, and smokes come in to aid in their cross and taking control of North. Now Boss Fight have a bit of a gap in their defensive coverage because they have positioned a couple of defenders up top. Radar Head now has to defend the North and watch that North coverage, but Icy, after finding the kill, is no longer going to challenge from that North side. They're instead rotating around, and is this going to be the perfect rotation from Icy is the question, as they now go up to the catwalk to potentially pop out onto the backside of Radar Head.
Couple botch utility from Icy Woods to try and challenge Cobra and Badger. Don't quite go his way. Narrowly avoids getting his head shot off by Badger.
Icy has taken control of the horseshoe, as it's so often called. Radar Head regains control as they pop out, almost unexpecting of Icy to be there. But now they've shut down what was that North aggression, and it all comes down to the 4 that remain for Error 404 over in the basement and 2 up here in the North. They still have to worry about Icy Woods, who's challenging up out of the stairwell, and potentially a threat from Scooby-Doo if they so choose to pop up their set of stairs. And so really an interesting defense from Boss Fight. Sometimes we see defenses prioritize and not even putting anybody up here onto this top floor.
Yeah, what Icy Woods actually did was really smart. So he was originally on South Stairs trying to fight off Badger and Cobra, got pushed out of there because his utility just didn't quite land how he wanted to. So he rotated all the way around while Badger calls him out on South Stairs, and he gets onto North Stairs here and gets a really nice side angle that they don't think they're going to expose themselves to. And you just see him pick up Cobra there right under the benches. Very powerful move.
I'll have to keep an eye on John advancing out of the basement. Woods is down here.
Oh,
I see Woods gets rid of Badger up top, and so it does leave it down to just the duo here in the basement to push out against the 4 remaining boss fight on defense.
Woods has definitely been hearing all of this movement.
Yep. Made flash around the corner just to be sure. Nolu comes popping out. No one is home. They may be pushing in with overconfidence here.
Right above them.
See John. Oh, is there?
Yeah, right above Nolu. He's just outside. Woods is just waiting.
There it is.
Finds Nolu. Not ready for John CZ way in the back there, but he does manage to get the confirm. A 1-for-1. Great, now going into a 2v1 as John CZ finds another, and objective needs to be crashed.
Yeah.
Just under 2 minutes, John going for a rotation.
The defense comes flying in from their upstairs positions to defend the objective space. John doesn't have a ton of time left, and so they are likely to push from the basement, although they can easily rotate, which is what they are doing. Icy Woods seems to be aware of this potential threat, as you do see them with their eyes on that top floor space, looking to catch off John making this rotation. And John, see if they can clutch this one for Error 404, if Boss Fight can finally get on the board here. As John's out in the open, they'll catch Icy Woods, unaware of them pushing out from that corner space. Maybe they weren't ready for it. I'm not sure where Woods was watching, but that's the only way really John could have popped out from the basement. Either way, John catches them not ready for their position there, and it's now a 1v1. Looking to clutch it up here with 45 seconds left. They'll be advancing up again out of this basement space and trying to make their way up to objective. 30 seconds left. Radar is going to play a patient game and force John into the close quarters fight. They're going to force John up to this objective. They know now that they're here. The flash comes in. Radar pushes the corner, and they're the one that wins the trade. Just able to get the gun up in time, but not fast enough, as Boss Fight now finally are on the board here. They take a lead on Error 404's map choice. And, well, it's a defensive W that I think should be won in most cases. You know, especially on this objective, you do often see this you know, the defense coming out on top here. Jamie, give me your brief thoughts here on that attack from Error 404.
Brilliant attack. Utilized a lot of the basement space and taking out members up top, and lots of rotations is what I noted. You know, as they're taking those picks, they're then rotating to the opposite side. So Boss Fight covering one angle and then getting picked off from behind there. And John CZ utilized that really well there to be able to pick off a few members from the basement as he pushed in. Very well played, really. A very loose defense from Boss Fight. You wouldn't normally see somebody kind of taking the overpass. That's you know, if your basement defense gets taken out, it's a long rotation back to the objective, giving people time for the cap there. So kind of expected something a little bit tighter as well from Boss Fight, but they got the win either way.
Yeah, a bit of chaos certainly unfolding, and that's, I'm sure, what Error 404 are looking for. As we have a brief moment before we get into our next round, another quick shout-out to ProTube VR. They offer fantastic systems to help stabilize your aim in-game. This one is the MagTube stock. You can see your controllers go into a cup and then magnetically connect onto the bottom of the stock that stabilizes off of your shoulder. So you can have the stablest sniping aim or hold the best angle utilizing the ProTube. You can easily detach it, grab your radio, throw a grenade, put it back on. It has a sling on it. I highly recommend it. variety of products available to pick up from, of different mounts, from joystick mounts to Beat Saber mounts, and everything in between. We got to get back into the action, though, as this next round kicks off, and John is going to be finding themselves a firefight very early.
John just narrowly makes it behind those tanks moments before Woods clears that corner.
Two more tunnels. I got one down, one more on me. 2 more tunnels.
John calls out 2 more tunnels. There's actually 3 around him, and a perfect grenade gonna find him through the barrels.
Really nice toss. I see.
Right, or was ready for it.
Big start for boss fight. They chip away at 2 from Error 404, trying to play aggressive in the basement, and they're going to shut that down. The trio here will have freedom to push up and pop out from the basement, and in the meantime, 2 more from boss fight are pushing out from different angles. You have another coming in from the horseshoe, and where is that 5th? I'm not quite sure. But either way, oh, they're down, excuse me, as boss fighter only left with 4. They lost one with that nade earlier. Or the kill from that position earlier. Yeah, we'll have to see what Air 404 do on the defense. Do you see any C4 on the doorway? I'm not spotting anything.
We'll have to come back here. Was taking a look at Scooby. He's going to be, once again, the wild card. As historically, he's going to be the one to sneak in during the chaos. So it's a matter of if Badger's going to maintain his hold on those stairwells.
Yeah, they have Badger there.
I'm not C4 either.
They have Badger there to watch the stairs, but even if they lose Badger, Nolu is at least still on objective. So there's not going to be any easy grabs there. And you can see Scooby taking the very far back wall peek there to really minimize their exposure. Try and get that 3/4 coverage over the top of the ledge to the stairs. And they are crouched physically in real life now in order to do this. That's the beauty of something like Onward or any VR esport, really, is that it is very physical, and Scooby is leaning and looking down the side of their gun, potentially using a stock, but if not, stabilizing their hands so that they just don't shake, so that when they're aiming their rifle, it will hit the target that they're aiming for. There's a lot of nuance that goes into this, and Badger able to find Scooby on that tight corner.
And there is C4 on 3 right behind Badger. So Badger goes down. Nolu does have a little bit of security behind him, as he's the one with the clacker for
I
it.
guess from north stairs. Hard to understand where it was.
Cobra is here, catches out Icy Woods, tries to fly up, puts the radar head, and they'll find that kill as well.
Wow, excellent pick from Cobra. A key to secure that middle platform. Lil Sayonara now has no distraction to wait for till he pushes this. It's down to him versus the 3 remaining Arrow 404 defenders.
Little rotation as they dip out from that basement spot, and will challenge the upstairs, where they are hearing a lot of this fighting and can potentially also pillage some resources off of their downed teammates. Of course, the risk is that you're going into, well, where people are watching, where they've already killed your teammates. The hope, I suppose, is that the defense feels it's clear and won't be seeing now Sayonara pushing in from that same street. And yeah, it looks like Sayonara is going to be looking for any utility they can find off of their teammate here.
Seeing the 2 bodies down on the railing, he must be assuming that the defender taking him out is either horseshoe or maybe at the end of the tunnel, which is where he's peeking. But if Cobra opts to fly up these stairs again, Lil Sayonara is at a disadvantage being on the ground here.
Still going prone, playing it cautious as Cobra tries to find Sayonara over the top here. Doesn't hear any of this movement, though. Sayonara did hear footsteps, so you saw them look up, down into the stair. But Cobra is just far enough on that stairwell to avoid detection. And now Sayonara has gone loud, and with 45 seconds left, Cobra just actually drops off of the stairs. They bought enough time. Badger, if anything, is going to get aggressive and does pop up on their stair side and look for Sayonara, but I don't think they'll be able to catch them just yet. They will certainly, as Sayonara is going to have to stand up and move with 30 seconds left.
Oh, but Badger with the rotation up the north stairs gonna find the final pick and give Aero 404 their first point on map number 2.
Right back in it with a solid defensive round. The Aero 404 squad looking to try and lock this in off of 2 maps. We won't play out that third map if Aero 404 can manage to win here on Subway. And Boss Fight know that, obviously, in the back of their head, that this is a must-win map. They cannot afford to lose here, or they are competing in for that third place position, for the third place prize pool. Certainly something still there to be playing for, but obviously not as much as first or second place could earn. And again, that prize pool comes in from our sponsors. We've talked about HyperX, ProTube. We also have VR Cover. They provide a variety of comfort and hygiene products for any of your VR headsets. The face cushion, a must pick up for any VR device that you have, as it greatly enhances the comfort of your VR device, which allows you to play in VR longer, so that you can become a champion of VR Master League. I do recommend you check them out. And alongside ProTube VR and HyperX, the combination of the headphones, the mount, and face cushions will certainly provide you one of the best, if not the best, VR esports competitive gaming experience out there. I'm sure some folks would argue against that, and that I know some people do like freehand, but I have always been a stock junkie, so to speak, and I know it helps me a lot to enhance my aim, and it's easy to recommend if anybody is looking out there to become better at sniping. I would recommend checking out the ProTube stock options, going over to ProTube VR.com, I believe. Anyway, back into the action we go, as we do have a fast spawn for Aero 404, a change in objective, and already gunfire.
Early send-off here with the pre-fire. This objective always being volatile in the first few seconds.
Yeah.
Standard defensive setups coming in here from Boss Fight. Woods watching the south. Radar and Scooby holding the main street. Woods and Sayonara watching the back alley. I'll have to see what's the timing like for Aero 404, as again they have that quick spawn, and they've already put out some aggression with that early pre-fire now, and so I wonder if that pace is going to be kept up here. Are they going to push in on 4 minutes, or is it going to be kind of a bit of a posturing moment like we saw from Boss Fight? That's a good nade toss into the back corner.
Radar still there to get call-outs, though, if needed, but Icy gets a confirm. Scooby, a dangerous peek to come around that corner.
I'm down on the corner, I'm down on the corner.
Oh, you hear them calling out, they're down on the corner.
Yeah, a good false call.
Yeah, divert this trio here, and now Badger, after being flashed, maybe continuing their advance forward as that smoke dissipates. They're going to toss a nade deep. That's going to catch right onto Icy Woods and be a full confirm.
Wow.
A couple of great nades from Aero 404 on this advance have now netted them multiple kills, as Boss Fight are left with just Sayonara and Woods. It's into a 2v4. John, Badger, and Icy contending well here as Sayonara throws some counter aggression off of a flash, able to get Icy. They're back exposed. They go down, and on the objective, Nolu catches Woods 43. Aero 404 put out a great round to take the lead here on Subway. Jamie, that was a solid Marsoc push.
Yeah, and I think the spawn really played to Era 404's kind of play style there, being able to just get up and close and personal with the objective straight away and not really give Boss Fight a chance to use their equipment, and that's kind of how you shut them down. Don't let them use the utility. They've thrown a lot of it and they've used it a lot, so well played there from Era 404, and also using utility of their own. Lots of smokes on the alleyway pushing out from the overpass and taking Icy Woods out with a great frag as well over at the back near the cell stairs. Really secured that kind of push from the alley from the overpass, and Nolu on his rotation as well, able to just identify the confusion and that Boss Fight are focused on there, able to just come around and take Woods 43 out at the end there. Just fantastic play, really.
And you know, now it's Boss Fight's turn to try and turn up and put on a powerful Marsoc push. Otherwise, Error 404 looking to stack their lead up 3-1 off of holding this next round as they go on to that defensive side. It's certainly advantage momentum into Error 404's hands for now. We'll have to see what Boss Fight get on the spawn, what their attack looks like, of course, as we expect the unexpected at this stage with these teams. But a really great performance from them to contend and for their first time potentially advance on to the finals in season 12 here. And like I've talked about, we would then be seeing two new teams into the finals up against each other for that first and second place position. And then we would see Boss Fight and Boss Fight and Raptors duking it out for third place. We're not there yet. Air 404 certainly have not locked in a series win, but they are advancing steadily towards it. With a 2-1 lead, we'll see if Boss Fight can bounce back and keep themselves in contention. They need to win this second map to take us into that map 3 decider.
Quick spawn coming out from Boss Fight as well. We'll see if they utilize it as efficiently as 4-4. Cobra getting super aggressive, and they almost finding the sides of two. Woods 43 flying out to try and counter aggress. Oh, a bad utility from Cobra twice. Not gonna find anybody.
Trying to get it in that alleyway, but doesn't want to over peek. So you don't get that utility quite where they were looking for, but they also don't expose themselves to any gunshots. That nade falling just a few feet short. And now Wood's going to trade onto that corner. Radar head goes down with Cobra peeking on the outside. Maybe they weren't ready for that, but Boss Fight had been chipped apart on this initial push up as Error 404 equally suffer. And Sayonara now maybe going to be pushing up here to contend Cobra's position. Scooby-Doo certainly has to be aware of where they are. I'm sure this got called out that they were here on this corner. We've seen it taken up several times over the course of the group stage, and now even in the finals, even in the last subway round, we saw this position. And so I imagine that the Boss Fight offense is aware of this threat here.
Gotta wonder how much time Boss Fight is going to utilize in order to digging Cobra out.
Oh, they don't know.
But Icy Woods, they don't. Oh. Wow, what a swing from Cobra.
Crazy.
Gonna just tear apart the Boss Fight attack, bringing this to a 1-2. Lil Sayonara with the quick reflex is gonna get the refrag at least. Now 4 minutes on the clock, and he has no information about the last two defenders.
And is there any utility left? Yes, a flash from their opponent. Now as they've lost control of the alley, they actually have to use that flash, work back up to it. And Badger will drop off of the tight corner.
No way 404 has a good kill count either with all the chaos that was ensuing down there.
Yeah.
You see Nolu bouncing around, watching a couple different approaches. Badger watching a third angle.
We've seen some crazy nades. I don't know if Sayonara has any left on them.
No, he did use his one frag.
Peek on a Nolu's corner is going to be tough. And as I say that, Nolu drops off. Oh, an opportunity presented itself for Sayonara there for a brief fraction in time. And Sayonara just couldn't quite capitalize on it. And with 3 minutes left, they just kind of circle back, maybe expecting counter aggression, and then reevaluate and look for any extra utility they could get off of their teammates.
What's the push here? I think a scramble for that utility,
oh, this is
but
good.
the final approach.
Yeah, I don't know.
2 smokes, that's going to make the alleyway a lot more possible. Badger with a nice peek from the other side of the objective, going to make it tough for him to approach from there. So I think the original corner is the way to go.
Any more utility? Interesting. Why would you take the clicker of a C4?
Maybe some audio distraction.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could really think of. What if the C4 is over here?
No, it was on the body.
That gets detonated. Does it draw any attention? Here comes more nades. This time the smoke. The drop. To deny Nolu vision. And Sayonara catches the kill. Nolu down, but Resable can radio in if this peak comes through, and there is still a minute and a half on the clock, so that smoke's going to dissipate if Sayonara doesn't move. And I wonder if they can see Zombie's rifle peeking out around the corner. It doesn't seem the way as Badger pops around and finds the kill. Nolu able to radio in that information for them, and Error 404 are staring at one more round in order to lock in their chance at the finals. Jamie, it's getting dangerous for boss fight.
I'm shaking. I really am watching this. You know, it's just everything is being pulled out, all the stops at the moment. You know, it's coming down to this 1v1, 1v2 situations, and players are doing so well to just, you know, scrounge for whatever they can. I mean, that initial push from Cobra, utilizing the confusion to be able to get into that corner near the trash cans and take out a couple members of boss fight from there. Scooby wasn't obviously aware that he'd made that early push, and the same really for John CZ. Unfortunately, he got took out early on, but you know, they're making these aggressive plays that boss fight just aren't able to counter and push through.
It's what we talked about at the start of the round. You know, with Subway, and ultimately this series, you know, you knew Error 404 was going to bring this kind of aggression, and the question was, will boss fight be ready? They certainly are ready. Like you said, they are contending well for these rounds. You look at the KD feed, 4 and 4, 3 and 4, 2 and 4, 4 and 4. They're finding the kills, but it's just coming down to those final 1v1, 1v2 moments. At least in Subway here, and Error 404 are able to just barely pinch back. And like I said, they're technically making progress. You know, this was they were able to bounce, they were able to fight back on Bazaar, but just not quite enough to really challenge Error 404. And now they're doing it a little bit more, but it's just barely enough. You know, they've gotten one win. They've almost had this 2-2, and well, they now go on the defense up in the north stairwell, and I mean, come on. You want to talk about an objective that favors an aggressive style of pushing, it is the north stairwell. And so Error 404, I'm sure, will be putting out some style of quick push down the north alleyway here and attack this objective. But, of course, do they do that well, and do they go for that play under pressure when they are, like I said, a round away from advancing into the finals?
And what an objective to do it on. The North Stairs objective. Gonna be some aggression here. 3-man approach on the North Alley, but they're actually not going to address it early. A little counterintuitive from what we see from other teams. Woods 43 with the C4 on the wall. I don't think John would have seen those pixels move from that far.
This is a south push. They're not going to be approaching the objective from the north. And maybe that's a bit of a shakeup from what Boss Fight is anticipating, especially with this team. You look at the defensive setup, and they indeed did stack north with 4. Little Sayonara is the only one holding the south. And Error 404 are going to be pushing into the weak side of Boss Fight's defense.
Gotta wonder how they approach Lil Sayonara's position. If they take him from both sides, it's gonna be really tough to defend. And some smoke could easily shut down that doorway. Not having 2 in here is a little risky.
That's going to be a matter of Error 404 execution, as it seems like they're not going to go for a quick play. But they are certainly setting up for a south entry as they clear and scan this top floor. You can see Badger looking for any sort of off-meta positions, anybody tucked in, you know, onto these railways or anything like that. But obviously, like we said, nobody there. So it is a bit of a patient waiting game, and I like to see this shift in pace from Error 404, especially after putting out such an aggressive Marsoc round 2 rounds ago.
Lot of communication from the Boss Fight defense. Scooby just calling out, counting all of the utility being used so they can have an idea on what they're up against towards the later half of the round.
Based on that util, that's minimum 2 players north. That was me.
This is the kind of communication you expect from players at this level.
Yeah. Counting nades, counting utility, factoring in what kind of kits could they be running, what kind of points does that leave them, can they have even potentially 8 utility pieces coming out here. It's such a in-depth sort of way of thinking and preparing against an opponent, but Scooby is certainly doing just that as well. There's cash on the line here, and this round, I mean, if there's going to be any round, it's going to be this one.
Error 404 are doing their darndest to pick up something before they make their approach. They're constantly checking every angle, hoping they can gain that numbers advantage that'll help them in the later part of the round.
And it's going to be about a 2 minute later. We get close
That's
to that
just
2
like
minute.
later if they don't get that pick.
I imagine John will push the north. I see. Push out here. On their way down the stairs. Happening in the body, but downstairs.
Flashbang gonna go over the north alley, not gonna quite grab anybody, but is going to let Woods know that somebody is still there. And I really like how Woods is holding this, prone just enough to peek around and allowing his C4 to do the work for him. However, if John CZ clears the dumpster, he should see that C4 in time to disable it. But again, that'll tell Woods 43 that there's definitely somebody there. It's just a matter of, does he aggress it or does he pull back and join his teammates?
Sayonara's being pushed. As they flash out, Nolu's there, and they'll catch Sayonara trying to rotate to get Cobra and Icy. There's a full
that is key.
3 to 4 players here in the south, and that was not what Sayonara was anticipating.
Don't worry, the other 2 are covering it. The other 2 are covering the entrance.
Nolu gets very close. Could Nolu slip past here? Yeah, Nolu could cap on the corner.
Comes out.
On the other side of the wall from Scooby. Cover it.
Smokes are out. Nolu's pushed up. Pads punched in. Nobody suppressing this tight corner. Error 404. Tap and locked in. At the finals, they
Wow.
2. What a nice play coming in from the Error 404 team. Nice dish of smokes, a good south presence, a nice shift of style in terms of timing. Jamie, boss fighter out, and Error 404 move on for that finals match. Boss fight have to compete now up against our loser Raptors for tomorrow's third place matchup.
You just couldn't have wrote this, really, could you? I mean, what a commanding victory from Error 404 from both rounds, 4-0, 5-1. They've just really showed up today and put it to boss fight. You pointed out quite rightly there. The South was more or less left uncovered. There was only one way that was going to go for Little Sayonara. Great map knowledge from the Error 404 side to know to flank around from the back there to push him out. Great equipment usage and just fantastic play. Yep, and now boss fight got to take on Raptors tomorrow, and to be honest, with a loss like this, one can only try and understand how they...
Have a brief technical issue here on my side. We should that's now. So thank you, Jamie, for that input. But yes, it has been a fantastic back and forth here this afternoon, and I am very much looking forward to tomorrow. As a reminder for those that have been tuning in here this afternoon, there is more gameplay this weekend. You just stop by tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. PST. We will be having the pre-show for the bronze matchup that will begin at 10. After that bronze matchup, we will then be doing a short pre-show that will lead us into our finals matchup of Error 404 versus Rome. Two not brand new, but two new teams to the semifinals, let alone the finals. That is going to be a game of unknown and questions, and I am very excited to see that battle happen tomorrow afternoon. A big shout out to everybody that did stop by here and hang out and enjoy what has been some good, high-quality Onward action. Whether you're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or Horizon venues, we really do appreciate your support and stopping by. It has been a very exciting couple of matches here. Also, as a reminder, giveaways will be going live tomorrow on this stream. So if you want to get your hands into the pot and a chance of winning HyperX gear and ProTube vouchers, we're definitely going to want to stick around and tune in for tomorrow's action, as we will be giving away those products during the third place match and the finals match. As also a reminder, it's a best of 5, so a little bit more gameplay there during the finals. But that is it for us here in our first day of the last weekend of Season 12. Any final thoughts from you, Sky, on what has been an unsuspecting finale here to the semis?
I mean, it's the same word as it was last time. Wow. Just what a shift. I mean, especially from my prediction, it's the exact opposite. The new guard is here, and they are here to play and show what they can do.
Yes, very impressive bit of gameplay here this afternoon. But like I said, that will be it for us here. One final shout out to all of our sponsors. Again, we've talked about them a bit. You've seen their ads run during the intermissions. They are HyperX with the HyperX Quadcast S, the Cloud 2s, Bluetooth in-ear headphones that can connect wirelessly to your VR device, the ProTube VR with option that you can put your controllers into magnetic cups that attach to a stock that helps stabilize, amongst a variety of other fantastic products. VR cover with a bunch of different hygiene and comfort products that range from face cushions, wraps. I do recommend you check them out. They are a must-buy. VRML obviously sponsoring the league and contributing into the prize pool as they want to help contribute to the VR esports grow. Arma, as one of our jersey and merch sponsors, they provide fantastic quality jerseys. You can see this one on display here with VRML brand back. You can see Sky as well in theirs over there. A variety of different colors. They also just released joggers that are very sick. I have gotten my hands on those. We also have for merch VRware. They provide fantastic VRML branded products. I just picked up the VRML Nebula t-shirt. I'm hoping it gets here for tomorrow so I can showcase that on stream. It is thick. It is very cool. I'm very happy and looking forward to being able to showcase that. And me. I also sponsored it. But that's just because I want to also help them. Our esport. That's it for us. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's. My co-casters Sky Joker and Jamie on the analyst desk. We'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. PST for a pre-show and our third place match that'll lead us into the final best of 5. But until then, stay classy.